Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 90. And we're delighted to be joined by Uncle Bill Dog, fresh from South Africa. How are we doing?
Do I go now? Yeah. Well, you look like you're about to talk. That's right.
No, I'm in shock. Uncle Bill, what?
Have you gotten? He hasn't been watching the vlogs, has he?
I don't even listen to this one, man.
You need to get on the old YouTube and you'll see what's going on there.
I tell you what.
Anyone else wants to?
Straight in with the plugs.
You got to get it done. But I tell you what, right? As far as motorsport goes, you have got to have the most entertaining Instagram. I haven't actually had a chance to watch any other of your vlogs, your YouTube, and you're a busy lad, a very, very busy lad. But your Instagrams, I think it's the highlight of my day after work. I'm like, where's this guy? What's this guy up to? Screaming at something, doing something. It's really entertaining, but it's great to meet you in person, and you're considerably taller than what Instagram puts off. You're a bloody mountain of a bloke. No wonder you're good at your sport.
I get that. That's usually what most people's his first line to is wow.
What are you about? 6'2"?
Between 6'2" and 6'3", I think, like 188 centimeters.
I can honestly tell you right now, no one has ever looked at me and said the word "wow" ever. So take the compliments where you can. You know what I mean?
Dom, I think Dom just does Instagram. He's not really a YouTuber. I've been watching your vlogs and stuff, and You must spend quite a bit of time, it's like almost like a full-time job, that, and you've got a huge following. I just had a quick look at your Facebook page, because I always see your Instagram and your YouTube, and I just had a look at your Facebook, and you've got like 375,000 followers on Facebook as well.
It's funny, I actually went on Facebook about 2 weeks ago. It's kind of like the forgotten social media now, especially like on the younger generation, definitely. Mm-hmm. But I always post on it, but usually just, when you post on Instagram, you can add it to Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And I was just over Christmas on my laptop, and I was just kind of cleaning it up a bit, and I thought, I'll go and see what Facebook's saying or whatever. I literally went on my profile and was like, whoa, I didn't realise I had anywhere near that many followers on the page and stuff like that.
Do you do TikTok?
No, about 2 or 3 times I've downloaded it on my phone, I've just thought, right, I'll try and get into this, and I just can't for the life of us. I see people's. I can appreciate the cool TikToks, like the ones you see and you think, oh, that's good, that's impressive, and then
hold on, let's go. What's an impressive TikTok? I want to know Billy Ball's opinion on this.
The transitions are cool within the music and whatever.
Well constructed.
Yeah, like the nice TikToks that,
So what's a shite TikTok then?
Well, the ones that I've tried to make, which
So you do a lot of. Do you know what Reels are on Instagram?
Yeah, I've got my head around Reels in the construction of Reels. Like I'm reasonably not so bad at technology and editing and stuff like that, and I can survive on editing stuff, mm-hmm. but I can't really get my head around TikTok. And the few goes I've had, I've never really committed to it to try and make a proper one, and I've just thought it's not going to go well. I would say 3 times I've downloaded it and uninstalled it from my phone. I'll see one and I'll be like, okay, I'll have another go on TikTok. It can't be that hard.
Can you look, right, if you haven't got the balls to put it on your profile, send one to us. Right. We'll put it on this show. It'll be brilliant. I'm dying. I would love to see one of these now.
To be honest, it's not even that I haven't got the balls. It doesn't really bother us what
I've just realised I've took a 6-foot giant that has no balls. I'm going to get slapped all over the place.
It's more, I just know you need to be, like with any of them, YouTube, Instagram, it's like consistency what kind of gets you to grow and stuff, and I just know I haven't got my head around it enough to be consistent with it. So I thought there's no point half doing it. Do you know what I mean? So
and you've got enough time, to be fair, with your YouTube.
Exactly. Facebook. I'm kind of happy. I know it's obviously is another kind of avenue you could market yourself, or you could have fun on and stuff like that. But it's just I've never really been took on by that one. I think I'm slightly too old for that one.
It's crazy to know when you see the numbers, like say 375,000. I think that's pretty much the population of Newcastle.
Really?
When you think like the whole city, when you see the numbers on the screen, it's like difficult to comprehend. And like say like some of you videos on YouTube will have like say 60,000, and when you actually think of like St James is packed, it's 52,000, and that many people are like sat there looking at the phones watching you. It's kind of mad, like when you think about it.
It's true. I think.
Is any of this put you off at all?
It doesn't bother. But I agree. Like I think my recap video of the year last year on Facebook went to like, I think it's on like 2 million or something like that, and like. That was again because I don't really check Facebook too much.
Jesus.
Because whatever. Anyway, I don't check any of the posts on Facebook because it's usually just absolute garbage. Someone's kid's first day at school, and then just someone complaining about it's just old woman complaining on my Facebook anyway. And again, I didn't check that for a few months, and I come back and it was like already on like 900,000 or something like that, and I'm just like, whoa, it's mental really when you actually do think about the volumes that you're reaching. It's for just playing about on a motorbike, it's quite impressive.
But with the YouTube side of the job, do you do your edit? Do you do like Premiere Pro or something?
Yeah, me and my mate Ed, who I think we'll get onto in a bit. It was kind of him. He nagged us for a while to start. That's your new box.
I was about to say, oh yeah, I got a present by the way, because he heard the rumour, Chrissy, that I don't own any, underwear really. I'm always commando, and he's kindly had a chat with Ed and Kex Underwear have spiced it up and give me a pair. Thank you very much, Billy. Honestly, thank you very much, mate.
It's cool. Well, obviously with your training down at Ed's place, and
yeah, it all kind of worked out quite good. And Ed's been nagging us for a while to start YouTube. I'd wanted to. I've watched and been like quite a big YouTube fan for a while, like more than just like the motorbike stuff, like quite a few vloggers and like the commentary channels and stuff like that. I'm like quite into it, and so I wanted to do it for a bit, and I've kind of had a few half goes and thought, right, I'm going to do it now. And I've just, because I think I already had like the opinion of what I wanted it to look like, because I'd watched YouTube for so long, like I'd watched like Casey Neistat and stuff like that for so long. I kind of had in my head what I wanted it to look like, but I could never really
put that into practice.
Put mine to look like that, which I suppose it doesn't really need to be, because it's kind of aiming at motorbike fans more than anything anyway. It's not aiming at like the video or cinematography people or whatever like that. But it was just never sat right to us, and Ed's nagged us, and Ed, obviously I spent a lot more time there building the track, and I'm pretty good friends with Ed and spend quite a lot of time there, and he himself has worked in like the media and stuff. When him and Tommy lived in America, he was working for the Great Outdoors and for KTM North America, just doing video stuff and editing stuff, and came back and worked for Monster, just filming and editing. So obviously he's way far like more superior to me at the stuff like that, and it just kind of all worked out perfectly. Like it was
you had the content
exactly just at building the track. Just after lockdown, we had no races going on, so we had plenty of time. It was the best weather I've ever known in the UK. We're there like getting sunburned while we're building the track, and we even like missed the first few days, and then we're both just like, let's just start videoing and see what it's going to look like, because it was quite cool. We had like the wagon came in and he was craning big, like huge pipes around, and I just thought it would be quite good for people to kind of see the background of it.
Did you ever watch a program? What was it? Bam Margera, the skateboarder, like Tony Hawk's. He did like, it was like a jackass. It was like pre-jackass kind of thing. You ever? Nah.
What's it called?
I cannot remember the exact title, but anyway,
I probably did. I was as a kid. That's kind of all I used to watch. I've probably seen it.
Bam Margera anyway used to torture his parents, and he turned his driveway into a skate park and all sorts, and it was just them lot just dicking around a bunch of mates, and that is what yours is based on, and it is brilliant.
It was like, actually, we didn't film any of it because it was kind of before we started videoing, but I had all the pipes delivered. I got quite lucky with people donating stuff or whatever, but the stuff like that's also heavy. It's the transport that's a nightmare. Like everybody's got a concrete pipe or a tractor tire, but when they're like 200 miles apart and they weigh like a ton each, it's like quite different. But anyway, so I got a guy I know who managed to sort out a lot, and I organised transport for them, and they all arrived at Ed's house, and then the next day it started raining, and it's quite a steep hill, not too steep, but for like a wagon or something to drive up, it's quite a steep grassy uphill. So the next day it started raining, and then I ended up going away to a race. I can't remember which one it was, So for about a month, there was just this array of concrete, like probably 10 pipes, 5 like motorway barriers just parked in Ed's driveways, and Mum had to drive around to get a car around every day. So we had it in the neck a bit.
Shout out to Ed's mum. So, fair play, putting up with you.
Lynn wasn't too. She didn't like a concrete playground too much, but she.
It's funny because
she's got a lovely track at the top of her garden if she ever wants to go and have a go.
It's funny because Ed's kind of like he's very central in like British sort of bike racing, because he's like obviously mates with Ty,
kind of mates with
the Lowe's lads, Haslam, and like all the sort of different disciplines. He's kind of in the middle.
It all goes on around there, so it works out pretty good. And obviously, and like going back to my YouTube side of things, he was wanting to get back into the video, and then after he had like a good few years without doing it, and obviously started Kex and a few other different things. So it all just worked out, and then we were just videoing, messing around at the track or whatever, and then he put one together, and I was like, oh, it's quite good. Like, so we just went with it really. We got like 9 episodes out of building the track, so we had like consistent. We'll put 2 out a week. And then I couldn't believe, like, I was expecting it to probably like fluctuate, like a couple of videos go like a lot of views and then the rest like next to none. But we had nothing like that. It was just like a slow, steady, consistent amount of views. But so many comments, like loving it and wanting more, and like just found the whole thing hilarious and wanted, like, they liked the vibe. Like, it was just crack, like, amongst it.
There's
like,
a proper market for that, isn't there? Like,
and people just liked it, like, would work on the track. Tommy would bring pizzas up, have a few beers, and it was just crack. People liked it. And I couldn't believe the comments that people wanted more. So that was kind of what inspired us to keep it going and want us to do more. So then now, obviously, racing started, and I went off to do a few races and a few bits and bobs. And at first I was still not overly convinced. So I bought a camera even before last year, probably, because I wanted to start doing it, and I never really did it. I give it to... Never really got it started, had it going. So I had the camera, and then at first I was like, nah, I'm not using a camera. So I did a couple on the GoPro, which is okay, but it's just not, the audio is nowhere near as good, and it's just not the same. You don't have it. I did a couple on a GoPro, and then them still went down well. So after like a few months, eventually I got my head around. I was like, okay, I want to keep it going. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm did a couple where I filmed and edited them all by myself. Like, I can do it. It's just so time consuming, and because he knows how the shortcuts, and it takes him like half the time it takes me. But I did a few where I did by myself. And I was like, okay, I can keep it going. And so it's just kind of stemmed from there, really, and just still kind of fine tuning what to do. And I always think about it at night, and I'll be like, I'll not be interested in filming tomorrow. And I'll get somewhere, and I'll be like, oh, fuck, I wish I
brought my camera.
Fuck, I wish I brought the camera. Like, even, I thought this morning, I was like, I'll video coming here. Then I'd been out helping my dad actually put a diesel heater into my converted Sprinter all day, and it got to like 6. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going now. And I still haven't even took my camera out the bag from when I came back from South Africa. And then so I've got here and thought, it'd have been so sick, but anyway.
I was about to say, we've like skipped so much. By the way, like, our listeners, we interviewed. When did we last interview you? It was over a
lockdown. It was the first lockdown. It was as the first lockdown was all kicking off, because we were going to come, and then we're like, no, we're allowed to leave the house, and then
it was. It just feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? 2 weeks later,
I bumped into Chrissy just totally randomly at
down the
shop.
road. Gary, like
Race to Off Road.
I couldn't even. I didn't.
Is that what it's still called?
I tell you what, I didn't even know that was a shop. Like, I'm being serious. You know what I mean? It was just. It must be that well boarded up.
It was so mad because obviously we'd never met, but we'd done the interview, and I think it was only a few days after, a few days after we'd released it, and then I was in.
It wasn't long at all. Anyway,
I was in the local shop getting some like oil or whatever, and you did a charity thing back then, didn't you?
Yeah, NHS. Yeah, when they were low on PPE or whatever, and it was all to donate goggles and stuff like that.
All right.
So they were all in the NHS with the tear off.
Well, I had like a load of half of the people, like the people at the hospital, were telling us.
Imagine, the things with the string, but
every time a patient spurts out a load of shit to go out. So yeah. Sorry. I've just got this mint image. They are just sorry. I've done 2 motocross races since then, right? And like the first thing I was ever taught about motocross and sugar tits
Hayden stats favor there, Gans. If I see you take them goggles off, I'm going to breathe the living shite out of you. And it's welded in my head. Never take your goggles off. Anyway, he hopped on this bike. The first thing that comes off for most motocross riders is the goggles. The vision just totally goes. And on sorry, I've just got this these patients.
Busy trying to put an IV in someone, it spews up a load of shit over.
Sorry, anyway, totally off course there. So you were doing a very charitable thing, for a good cause. Yep, there you go. Sorry.
I was collecting them. I ended up getting quite a few. I give out quite a few. Obviously, we weren't riding bikes or anything at the time, so I give out just about everything I had at home, everything I could find around the garage or whatever. And then it was just as Gary was handing over the shop, or they weren't actually open at the time, so he said, "Oh, just come in." And he's a really nice guy, Gary. Anyway, I knew he would be keen to help, so I messaged him, and he said, "Yeah, just take whatever you can get out the shop." So we literally just randomly bumped into each other 2 days later. It was pretty mad.
How many goggles do you think you actually? I know you won't have an exact number on it, but you must have had a huge.
I give in. I don't know. I would say. Well, I ended up getting 100%. It was my goggle sponsor. I ended up sending it. I think they sent me 50 pairs. And then I probably had 40 pairs myself, and probably over the other people I collected from got about, I'd say I give over 100 in.
Fair play, mind.
But it was
something.
People off. Well, I don't know. I'd guess most of them will have gone to good use. From what I was hearing, and half the people on Facebook were telling us it was no good. They weren't allowed to use them or whatever. The keyboard warriors, and then the people that were in the hospital, working in the hospital, saying, "Yes, please, I need something. We're desperate for stuff." Mm-hmm. And then the people on Facebook were telling us, Facebook warriors, no, they're not allowed them. They're not approved. They're not allowed to use them. There's no good. You're wasting your time. And I'm just like, well, I've give out like 20 yesterday to like some manager at the hospital in Gateshead. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, Kiwi. The guy met us at the reception, and he was like so grateful. Had his picture took with us, like couldn't have been more thankful. Said if there's any more, we'd definitely take them. And
there we are.
Look on Facebook, and everyone's going, they're not allowed them. They're not medically approved. And I'm just like, well, the people in the hospital are asking for them, but oh well.
Something's better than nout, and it's been about proactive, isn't it?
I think it was quite bad at one point. I think obviously every hospital was different at different amounts of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you didn't have anything, they're going to be better than nothing. If they're going to be, a lot of them were saying. The glasses they had for women were too small, so like a strap all the way around the back was the main reason they were thankful for. Like the glasses were falling off the face.
All right.
But I don't know. That feels like it was like a lifetime ago.
Here's a question, right? Totally off subject about everything, but keyboard warriors, is it just people are just getting, understandably with the situation when people are getting so wound up now and just venting more and more, and I think anything remotely constructive, that just seems to be 10 more people being destructive to that one person.
If you think there is millions of people in the country at the moment who have had nearly a full year, like sort of furloughed or off work, and they're sat, and you're bound to get a bit bored, a bit restless, and if you think that there's always going to be a percentage of the society who are just like either jealous or just hate and have full of hate and just want to vent that
and get like straight on Facebook.
Did you see? I seen Ricky Gervais did a brilliant thing the other day where he was saying how like because Twitter's relatively new, like I think it was invented in 2008. People
is that it?
Yeah, it's not
mad,
really,
isn't it?
It's not
even
really
like
that
Facebook's
new.
like 2006 or something.
No, it's not.
But he was just saying.
I thought my dad's on it. It's got to be older than that.
He was just saying, like in the olden days, if somebody was, or he was likening putting a tweet out to putting a sign up in like the city or the town hall saying like offering guitar lessons, and he said, but people on Twitter, if you put something out there for people, and if they want to engage, that's great, but people feel like the need to like shout back at you. And he was drawing a parallel to like seeing someone offering guitar lessons in town, ringing the number and being like, I don't fucking want guitar lessons. And it's like, you would never do that in normal life, so why do you do it on like Twitter? And I think YouTube's probably the worst for YouTube comments, isn't it?
Do you get negativity?
No, not so much. I get I wouldn't say it's negative. It's not like what you see like celebrities and all that. They get like
hammered
big shit, and I'm just like, but it kind of makes us just hate the world, really. I hate social media. I love social media, and I spend like a lot of time on it, and I take quite like pride in doing it. But at the same time, half the shit I see, I just think, what is the point of this? How can people like have the? I don't get how people can have the energy and put the energy How do you think it's constructive to put that much energy into trying to bring someone down or give shit or
like trolling?
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Like, how can people think it's constructive to their life to put that much time and effort into just talking shit on someone's post? Or...
Do you have a policy of do you like sort of block, or do you like take the mick? Or James Blunt was always good for like sort of ridiculing.
I try and reply. To be fair, I don't really get too many. I get the odd. I get quite a few. I'm quite critical to people, but I get a few what I would consider stupid comments. And
ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer.
Well, I quite like to just give a dumb reply back to a stupid comment and stuff like that. But again, like I don't take anything too personal, you know. Like no. I can see past it. If someone really wants to be negative, I don't really care at all, to be honest. But yeah, I get quite a few what I would consider stupid comments, but I just leave it. I usually either do a sarcastic reply or just leave it. I thought, I'm not educating you. You can kind of, it's whatever you're struggling with, you can work out yourself, or one of your mates can tell you.
Do you know, in terms of what we're talking about with like pushing your social media and having such a massive platform, obviously it's mega like a mega addition to all of your sponsors, because obviously all the sort of racing and whatever you get the publicity for, but on top of that, like every week,
cue plug,
every week all your sponsors are getting like your reach across social media must be huge, and like it's although it's a lot of time and effort you put into it, like it's well worth it in the grand scheme of things. And I seen the other day one of your sponsors is Carbon Comps. They have you seen them, Dom?
They're working with a couple of road guys. Hickey was was one of the.
I've got a good question. Do you give a shit he won a British title?
Of course. It was
just want to throw that in there.
Lad.
There's not many bike races or biking people in general really from the northeast. It's not massive.
It's not massive.
You see, for me, that's what I love about like motorcycle. There's so many variants of this sport. Now, I'm not just saying this because you're sitting there. I enjoy enduro racing because I'm following you. You kindly took the time to come on the show prior. You've come on again, which is awesome. But I generally enjoy it's the shite around it. It's mint. I think there was like a fat lad playing table tennis, and you were going, "Go on, son!" And it was like fat. He looked like a fat Trump.
And I went back. It was in like a cafe in Dubai. That I went back about 3 days later when he was there again. It was like 10 o'clock at night.
That's mint.
His mates playing table tennis.
I was just going to say, what's the crack with that Carbon Comp site? What do
he's back on the path there.
Yeah, we've got to do all the plugs, get them in. They're like a competition website to win bikes or whatever, but they also they're sponsoring quite a lot of young riders and supporting quite a bit. They were helped Hickey with it. Is it the Oval, the cup that he runs? I don't know too much about that, but I know they fund that and help quite a bit with that. And they just want to obviously they're pretty transparent with what they do. They offer new bike competition, buy tickets to win your bike.
So how much is it, like a ticket roughly on those things?
I think they're usually around.
Hand me one of them. Oh, cheers, mate.
There's your plug.
Mate, I'm running on empty here, honestly.
Pick you up.
There you go.
So I think it's about 20 quid.
Soothing.
About between 10 and 20 quid, just depends on the bike and stuff like that for a win. But it's all brand new bikes, and it's all
always do your replicas.
They're doing they started off with doing Huskies. That's why I was kind of involved to start off with.
Do you have a replica bike?
Well, we're kind of made. We made one just to win. But at some point we're going to do a proper one. We just did stickers with this one, but we want to do one with like exhaust, wheel, everything you can buy. So if that's what you're interested in, it will be on Carbon Competition sometime. But yeah, so the competition website, but they're pretty transparent, with what they're doing, and they're investing, a lot back into the young riders, and you can kind of apply for a sponsorship program with them, or let them know what championship you want to do, and they're just helping a lot of people. And it's only just started. It only started midway through last year, but again, they want to get involved with a lot more people. And again, I want to work with the academy and kind of work together really. But it's just nice to work with someone who's not really only interested in making money. They want to help motorbikes and racing grow.
Is there an academy system in enduro? There's kind of bits, and I'm learning a bit.
Yeah, enduro's quite split into different things. Obviously, you've got like your classic traditional enduro, which it's still popular at like the top end, but sort of at club level and hobby level, not really too much interested. It's all more like extreme enduro, which is what I'm doing, which is the carnage and bikes crashing and flipping out, and that's what people.
Can you get like I was about to say? Can you give me an example of that? What is the naughtiest thing you've built down at Ed's farm there? To our viewers, explain what you've built, because it's like the videos are surreal. You've got
well, again, if you want it like to look nice for the video or whatever, then I like just like a big scrub over like one of them big concrete pipes. But like the hardest thing is probably when you go built like a balance. So we've got we can't even explain it. It's a mound of dirt to start off with, and then like a real long downhill, and we'll put 2 concrete barriers, one in the middle and one on the top, so it's like 2 steps. So you're like a vertical step, land, and then up another one. And then
and how high are these steps?
They're motorway barriers, so
that's high,
1.5 meters. Not too big, but anyway. So for the video, one of the main reasons we built the track was to film a video on there. Just for the crack. We ended up doing it obviously on doing it in the dark and floodlights. We picked July, which is like it doesn't get dark till 10 o'clock at night, so we're there under floodlights till like 1 a.m. for 3 nights in a row. So if you want to go and watch that, I'm sure you can find that, because
I'm actually going to watch that when I get back,
because that took some effort. So yeah, we had the steps, and then I'd wanted some kind of balance beam, so there's like a tree trunk. We couldn't actually find one long enough, so it's 2 that would join again. You can see it all in the vlogs. And it also doesn't show anywhere near the amount of effort that actually went into building the track, because we're kind of making it up as we went along. So we had to improvise. But so it's a balance beam all the way off the end, but then obviously it's on an uphill. So by the time you reach the end of the balance beam to the ground, it's probably just over my head height. And then I thought, well, I want to land on something, so we got the tractor tires and laid them flat and put that. I don't know. I didn't actually. I think it was about 15 foot from the end of the beam onto the tire. I bet it doesn't. I bet it sounds so complicated. It's just gone clean over everyone's head. But anyway, it's quite impressive. If you want to go,
I tell you what looks difficult to me. Do you know when you've got the logs? But if, like for example, a mere mortal would just.
That's my
point. Triple it. Yeah. It's called a matrix. That's like a regular part of like a super enduro track. And. That's it's kind of, I would probably put it as like the equivalent of like a set of supercross whoops to just ride over singly. They're not the most difficult things in the world, but when you start, going, you can my matrix, you go triple double.
And do you know, before, like, if you were hitting that for the first time, do you sort of suss out and think, right, I'll do them triple, I'll do that, or do you just kind of just? You
kind of know, like when, like if we arrive to an arena and there's a track laid out, you kind of know, like, you know how far you can hit one log and kind of travel in the air, so you can usually suss out.
It is surreal what you can do. It makes us look soft, like.
But you hit it for the first. Hit it and just kind of lean back and kind of boner air it and just see where you land.
It's one of them things though as well though.
If you go like that, you're not going to break your wrists. You'll be all right. If you go like that, it's probably going to hurt.
Risk assess the situation. I'm going to vert it.
It's one of them things that like we're just talking before. I've just started getting into trials like quite recently. It's one of them things where when like my first go ended up quite hurting myself, but then you kind of learn how to fall and how to bail out.
I think because obviously I did trials all my life from when I was 6 and 7 when I first started until I was 18, 19 I changed over to enduro.
Because you didn't go to Spain, and that's what like that, anyway I'm jumping in again.
But anyway, I did trials all my life, and one of the things that I'd say to a lot of people, which I think trials has taught me really well, is how to crash. And in knowing when to get off, when I can keep hold of the bike, when I need to just hit eject. Because the first 2-3 years of me, first 2 years definitely of me riding enduro, I crashed so hard, like so many times. Like to think the crashes I had and I just got up from and thought, well, I'm fine. That's pretty mad. And I 100% put it down to trials and kind of just understanding when it's going to go wrong, when you can, because you'll go practicing trials for a day. Like when I was riding kind of full-time trials, you'd probably crash or have to eject from the bike 10, 15 times easy. So you just get used to jumping off and knowing which way to jump.
I think that's what makes it so impressive, though, because, like, for example, if I wanted to try and do what you do, and, like, so I went to a track and I thought, right, let's have a go, I would instantly, like, either break my arm, or even if I attempted something. So because there's that block, that it, like, stops people from practicing and getting better, when you watch you, like, say, jumping over all them things, or say jumping up onto something so tall, in my head I'm thinking, right, if I tried that and it went wrong, I would fall back and I could break my back. So, like, making that step, it's so impressive when you watch.
Yeah, I think that trials does just give you such a good base, I think, for whatever you want to do. Clutch control, foot and control, and balance, obviously that's a given, you can see that, but I think learning to crash is actually, as stupid as it might sound, it's like a big part of...
Another thing that I think have sort of been improving by trials, and that I'll have to see when I get to the road if it makes a difference, but is moving your body around to get more grip, where that's something that on a road racing bike where there's that much grip. Do you know what I'm saying? Where trials, everything's exaggerated.
You can feel everything so much more, and obviously I definitely agree. Trials is definitely good, just gives you such a good all-around base, and whatever sport or like motorsport you do, riding a trials bike is going to do you no harm to practice.
It's a total different discipline. Now, I can't remember from the first interview, but did you ever fancy having a go at the racing? I know you answered this last time, but
what, road racing or like
no, I meant motocrossing.
I actually did when I very first started. When I started riding a bike when I was 3, PW and all that, and I went, and when I was a kid, I wanted to race. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't even know what trials was when I was a young kid. I just wanted to race motocross, and I remember I went to America on holiday when I was 4, just to Disneyland or whatever. I was 4 at the time on a PW, and we went to just the local motocross track to watch. And in America, you can start racing when you're 4 on PWs. So I was so bummed that like 4-year-olds were racing, and like when I wasn't allowed back home. I remember that. So from when I got back home after that, all I wanted to do was race. So as soon as I turned 6, I had got my license and did a couple of races. I think my first race was at Chester Hills. It's not too far from me. Well, I don't think it's there anymore, but it's not too far from here. And did a couple of races, and my mum and dad didn't really like just the motocross scene, like the motocross paddock and the vibe, and it's all. And now going back, I can totally understand why they didn't really like it, didn't want to be part of it. It's all very very serious, and you see obviously there's a lot of nice people. Don't get us wrong, but you see the schoolboy dads and the way they're going on and shouting at the kids, and just it's all not the most friendly, I would say, compared to trials, which one of my dad's best friends. His son was riding trials. He was pretty good, actually. Called Dale Robson. He lives just around the corner from me. So his dad recommended, bring him along to trials. So I got given this 30-year-old TY80. I don't know if you've ever heard of one of them. The Yamaha TY80.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's like
I've seen them. That people are like rebuilding them now, aren't they?
It's quite famous to rebuild them. I've still got loads of broken ones in my garage. So whenever I get round,
Taylor McKenzie's rebuilding one.
I've seen that actually.
Lee Johnson's done one. He fits it beautifully.
Anyway, that was like. It's kind of died a death now that Ossets have came out into play, the electric trials bikes. But when I was a kid, that was what you started on. You learned how to ride, because they're like, even then they were 25, 30-year-olds, so the clutch was ancient. It was this big, heavy cable clutch, which a little 7-year-old kid's trying to pull in. And obviously you meant to use one finger in trials to have the feeling for it. And this cable clutch, that's all the way out here. And like twin shock.
Proper
twin shocks out the back. It just looks like an ironing board, the whole back of the bike. So I just had a Lem 50 when I was racing at the time. Lem, which was like, they were like, when I was in autos racing, that was like that was what you had. They were better than KTM's back then. Just got off my brand new Lem 50 and got given this 25-year-old trials bike with 2 shocks at the back of it and no drum brakes. But that was the thing. You learned how to ride on one of them back when I was a kid. So then I got handed that and told to start riding slowly in between these flags. That was what I was going to do. And I hated it at first. Well, I didn't hate it, but I was shit at it at first. I remember Buttsfield Quarry was my first trial. Do you know where that is? That's not far from me either. That's just up Concert Way.
Oh yeah, back in Castleside.
Top of Castleside.
Yeah, next to Alnsford Park. I used to ride there when I was. I think they've stopped people going there now, like all barriered off and that.
Anyway, so went to my first trial there. I remember I just cried all day long. I was so shit. I just cried and then stuck at it and got quite good at that.
Was that more your parents going, or keep like?
No, I didn't get pushed. I wanted to ride my bike and and I'd still ride it after school, like just in the burn. Like you could still kind of get away with riding your bike in the park back then, like the Wallsend Park just by my house. I used to go ride in. The police used to come and watch us. Honestly, the police used to come and watch us.
It's like you and Buzzcocks.
Yeah. He doesn't know. He hasn't watched the latest.
I've seen Buzzcocks.
Vlog. Buzzcocks is actually featured in the last vlog.
Is he?
I bet 90%.
The actual Buzz, the actual actor.
I've just nicked one of his a couple of his clips.
People won't know what, but most of our listeners,
95% of the viewers of the vlog, and probably even more, 97% of the vlog viewers will have no idea what it is. They're probably thinking, who's this fucking lunatic?
Isn't he a posh lad? The actual guy who did Buzzcocks?
Yeah, a couple of my mates from Carlton reckon that he's actually a dentist. He made the teeth himself, which makes it even better. But yeah, like he's anyway. I'll put him in the vlog. If you watch, I'll get Chrissy will send you the one. And I was sat there. I edited that one myself, and I was honestly, I was just sat there in Roxy's house pissing myself laughing at what I just made because it was so brilliant.
Basically, for people that don't know, Buzzcocks was a piss take on
YouTube it.
No, like little kids thinking they're gangsters in like Newcastle. So this guy who's like he says a dentist, he's posh. He puts these false teeth in and pretends to be this like sort of gangster.
Cap on the ankle. Honestly, it's brilliant. Like, didn't he have a song, Smash Your Pasty?
Yeah, Smash Your Pasty. Wallsend Biker, Whitley Bay.
Girls are wearing a classy.
My favourite bit was about smoking tack. It's like, I didn't use a bucket, I didn't use a pipe, I smoked the fucking lot from a BMX bike.
They're so good. I'll go back and watch them all. The clips I used, I had to search because I wanted the one of them, his laugh was ha ha ha. It took us. I had me and Roxy had it on her phone and I had it on my laptop. I'm like, you need to go through all of his videos. She loves it. She thinks it's brilliant.
Roxy's your missus.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put
she's obviously spent enough time in like Newcastle now to kind of get the crack. At first, she's obviously South African.
Right.
So she didn't really understand it at first, or didn't have a clue what it was at first, like most people in the vlogs. But anyway, she's spent enough time in Newcastle now, and she's met the people she needs to meet now to understand why it's hilarious. So she was looking through the videos, and I was looking through separate ones, trying to find the laugh I wanted for the clip. So I went through so many of them, and they're so good. There's one where his mate wants him to put a load of money in the bank. And he goes up to I went up to the woman at the bank and I said, I want you to know all this money I'm putting in here is hard-earned drug money. Do you have a problem with that?
He used to do those lessons in life.
The lessons in life.
Showing out like
teaches you how to make a fire and stuff like that.
In a bung.
It's when he's playing golf, when he hits the drive. Oh yeah, honestly,
it's so good.
It is. The sad thing is, it's quite an accurate portrayal of the northeast culture, isn't it?
Well, because when we last had you on the podcast, which I'll find out the number and I'll put it in the link below. So if you want to listen, we kind of covered your early days, sort of going up, and you just won the World.
Yeah, just been announced because we missed the last round because of COVID or whatever. So they just announced that I was the champion.
You had the podium presentation and you got in fireworks.
I've always got a decent stock of fireworks just in case there's a celebration.
just in case shit goes down.
There's a guy, he actually, in the video we made at the track, he came and did the fireworks for that. He's it's called Galactic Fireworks and he's called Super Carnage anyway. He's quite funny on Instagram if anyone wants to follow. Anyway, he's just mentally has a fireworks shop and he just sends us whatever I ask for pretty much. Or he just sends us a box and then just let fireworks off. He's mad. Even not this last New Year when obviously there was a New Year was a thing. I was in South Africa. I wasn't in South Africa. I was in Spain training for the SuperEnduro round. And I just messaged him, said, because my dad and my uncle, we all just quite like fireworks, so it all gets a bit out of hand. So I said, can you send a box for New Year? Because I knew my dad was going to my uncle's house for New Year. So it turned up, and apparently I wasn't even there, so I didn't even get to see it. It was on a crate. The crate turned up, and it was just...
Are we talking a full-on box crate?
Like a pallet.
Oh my God.
It was on a pallet, sorry, not a crate, a pallet. And there was just these boxes wired to each other. Like they'd already fused it all together, like 5 or 6 of these just boxes. You didn't even know what they were. This is how technical I got. He'd wired them all together for us. You just lit one, and apparently it went off for like 5 minutes. In the back garden in Battle Hill.
Bet the neighbours love you lot. That is me. Who's your most obscure sponsor? That's got to be up there.
That's up there. It's one of them it's one of them relationships. It's not like even like a sponsor. He's not even bothered about any promotion or anything. He doesn't mind a tag or whatever. But he just
someone
likes
who
fireworks.
supports you.
He just likes. He doesn't even know anything about bikes really. He just kind of bumped into each other. I know a few people he knows. And stuff like that. So we both just kind of bumped each other on Instagram, and he said he's seen we're messing around with fireworks one day, and he replied to my stories knowing he's watched the firework go off, and he replied knowing what kind of firework it was. And then just said, if you want any more, let us know.
Happy days. And then, so from
we got so off topic there talking about fireworks.
So that's what this show's about. We have no guidance whatsoever.
That last pod we did was around sort of March time, so it was just after. From God. Then, did you have a few months in the UK, but like while we're in?
Yeah, so that's from then when we first got eased of lockdown and stuff. That's when I started to build the track and stuff like that. So that was like just before I started really the YouTube thing. So then, we started to build the track. Had like the summer at home pretty much. We started racing again. We didn't really actually have too many. We had no outdoor world championship or anything. We had
all cancelled for COVID.
COVID. We got the championship got announced at first that it wasn't going to run. And they said the races were going to run as individual races. Because ours is quite different anyway. The organisers of each race, because it's so different, one's in one country is 2 days long, another one's 5 days long in another country. It's all different organisers and different styles and stuff like that. So they said, the races are all just going to run as individual races, and then in the end, we only got one of them done, one of the international ones, which was Romaniacs, which happened in October, I think.
So is that the only outdoor race you've done this year?
I think so. No, well, I did. Because I was in England, I ended up doing quite a bit more in England. We still had a couple of British extreme races, and I did a couple of motocross races, did a British motocross race, did quite a bit of motocross. I was riding a lot of motocross anyway, because I quite enjoy it really, because it's still quite new to us. The extreme side of things, the technical kind of enduro, I still do it to train on, but it's, I've kind of rode over rocks and streams kind of all my life, so it's still new and fresh, and I've got a lot to learn still on motocross tracks. So I did a lot of motocross races.
How did you do in the British one? I
actually did horrendous. I was really disappointed with the day, because I did another race 2 weeks earlier. We were both. It was at Hoxton Park. I did another race. It's called Haverig, which is a sand track as well. They were both sand, and I did pretty good. I did really good actually. I beat some quite good people. My lap times were really good and stuff like that, and I was feeling good. And then on the day of the actual race, I was so bad. I had a few problems with my shock, and it was kind of adjusting itself in the race, which was annoying. It's a pretty pathetic excuse to go.
Right, no, hold on.
It's a pretty pathetic excuse. I'm not. In fact, we're not even. That's not even an excuse. I was just shit. It took us by surprise really, because obviously. Technically, coming from a technical background, when the track gets rough and beat up is kind of where I get better anyway. And the qualifying, we were first on track, and it was just flat, and I couldn't. I kind of took us by surprise the speed everyone was going. So we did 10 minutes of free practice, and then 10 minutes of free practice, then 10 minutes of qualifying straight in. You didn't stop. So everyone was cruising through free practice. The track was nice. I felt really good. As soon as qualifying started, everyone just went like the fucking head had been cut off. All lines of the track just got blew out. Like there wasn't a single line. I couldn't believe how aggressively everyone was riding. So I just kind of got lost my way and was just trying to follow fast riders. But obviously I'm not used to riding that kind of style at like a qualifying pace on a motocross track at all. So I just qualified. I got last qualifying spot. And then,
is this like top of
this
like
is like
British?
British Championship. This is like the best in Britain.
Because in motocross, there's A, B, and C. Is that the same for British?
No, and then British, you just go off classes. So you have like pro class,
Right.
expert class. So this was in like pro class in British Championship.
Right.
So I just got last qualifying spot, which was 20th in MX1. And the races actually was first start, both of them. The first half was pretty good. And then I crashed on the down, and if you know Oakson Park, I crashed on it's a really steep downhill, and I crashed at the top of it and rolled down, and my bike stayed on the top of it. So I had to like climb back up. So that pretty much put us in last, and I just kind of finished the race after my arms had pumped up and I had sand inside my goggles, and it was just a hell. Second race again, I was going quite good. I was in about 15th. So both races I was in about 15th until I fucked up. Second race again, I was in about 15th, and then I crashed. I was actually moving over to let a faster rider past. He didn't realise I was moving over, hit my back wheel, knocked us off. As I'm like on the floor, another rider come round and crashed into my head. Literally top of my helmet, like his the bottom of his fork clipped the top of my helmet. I don't know how I didn't like really. I felt it afterwards, and I was a bit fuzzy, but I wasn't out cold or anything. I don't know how. And then it was kind of like on the inside of a blind corner. Not anything fast, but about 3 people rode over my bike. One person got stuck on the handlebars, and his back wheels just spinning up on top of my handlebars. There's just rubber all over my bike. So it was pretty bent up and twisted and stuff. Like if it was one of my like serious races, I could have finished, but my bike was so twisted and the track was so rough. I thought there's no point hurting myself or someone else finishing with a bike this bent up. So I didn't finish that one. So pretty disappointing British motocross career, but I would like to go back and have another go, because I think I can run at a much better place than what I showed.
Is that what is Tommy racing?
Yeah,
British
that was Tommy. Tommy's now just doing British Championship. Yeah, so
where does Tommy sit in this champ? Like,
Tommy wins.
Oh, he's actually.
Tommy's like Britain's best rider. He has been for quite a while. Tommy was the boy, to be fair, when he was younger. He was second in the world 3 times.
I remember going to the Motocross Cup of Nations at Donington. And
yeah, he was. So like 2000, I think it was 6 and 7. He was second, and I was really good second. Then he went to America and did pretty good in America, but he ended up getting injured and coming home, and then he came back to Europe and was still about second in the world. Never actually won a championship.
Is it not a bit surreal for you? Because obviously when you were growing up,
because I was like, he doesn't realise that all, because more stuff goes over his head, but he doesn't realise I was a proper fanboy back in the day. Like I'd read Dirt Bike Rider and stuff, and he was like, yes, he was, to be fair to him, the boy. He was second to Hurlins twice and second to Rattery, who are all like proper doers. So it's a bit weird, but like it's not, and it's kind of isn't like when we're out, like when we're with each other hanging out at Ed's or whatever, it's just so normal. We're really good mates, but like he was one of my like, because when I grew up, I was obviously riding trials, but I read everything. I watched MotoGP, I watched Superbikes. My dad was just a fan of any kind of race, and I read Dirt Bike magazine. I'd watch the Supercross on the telly and stuff. So he was definitely up there.
You two being top of your games, like how good's he at enduro riding then?
Oh, horrendous!
Really watching the vlogs
so far.
No, hold on. You're picking on me here.
Hold on my YouTube channel. It will get you right up to speed.
Honestly, I'm grafting all the time. There'll be listeners on our fan base going,
have you got a little chopped off finger there?
I do. I've
got 2.
Shut up, man.
Aye.
Shut up, man.
When did you do that?
How do you do that? Sprocket.
Sprocket.
See, I can't remember mine.
That was on the 2i80.
Shut up, man. How old?
Because I had 7. I had big dinner plate back sprocket on, so I couldn't stall it, and I fell off once, and it was just going bup, 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 and I went back over to the bike and tripped over. This was all on a flat car park.
Shut up, man.
To this day, I don't know how I crashed. It was outside my dad's work, just on a flat paved car park, and fell off. I honestly don't know. I was probably trying to do a wheelie or stand on the seat or something.
Do you not use them for your clutch?
I still use it like fast action now.
Do you ever have problems with the nail bed coming back?
No, I think it was just below that.
Are you right-handed?
No, left-handed.
Left-handed as well?
No, sorry.
Right-handed, yeah.
So as I was going back over the bike, I tripped over and just went like that and just went...
Jesus. Do you have to run like... we have to run shark fins. Is it like on sprocket, like sprocket guards, that hang off the bottom of the swinging arms? Do you have to do that in motocross as well?
In enduro, I don't actually think there's enduro, especially extreme enduro. There's not really too many rules. That's kind of why it's so popular.
Right. Now
it's just carnage. So that they actually don't. In trials, you do, but I think it didn't really assist. I think also with the bike being so old, it doesn't have the same kind of front. I think it was the front sprocket that did all the damage from what I can remember as it was going around. And obviously on like such an old bike, you don't have the, like on a modern bike, the casing kind of comes in, like covers quite a bit of it. And obviously I think that was just, I can't really remember too much.
My
I chopped them off when I was a kid.
Jesus,
we're just touching on the whole Tommy crack and the sort of dynamics between you on your vlogs and stuff. It's so funny. And because Tommy's he's like a sort of Carl Pilkington character, really dry.
He's like,
is he?
He's hilarious. I find him so funny, and like
he's funny without meaning to be funny.
No, he's not. He's not at all. That's just how he is. Like, whether there's a camera there or not, whether he just had his house, he's the same. And I just find myself burst out laughing. It's just that kind of humor that just hits me. You're such a fucking idiot. You're a proper fucking wally.
Because you tend to fight like, being from the northeast, we have a dry sense of humor anyway. We need a bit of torture in our lives to find it entertaining. So
it's actually, I think, done like really good for him, because he got his last few years of his career, he talk about getting shit on Instagram. He used to get such shit. Like,
why?
Just, like he got injured quite a bit, and he's like, now he doesn't do World Championship anymore. Last year was his first year. He's just signed for a British team and just does British Championship now, and he's 30 now, I think. He's got a kid and stuff, so he don't have to stay at home. But his last few years riding GPs, he was injured quite a bit, and he had a lot of problems with teams and stuff like that, not getting the support he was meant to get.
Because he's a Honda rider at the moment.
Now he's riding for Honda, yeah. Right. So in the last few years of his career anyway, he was quite injured, and a lot of people, because he kind of comes across like that, and he's so dry, and he's so funny with everything, people just assumed that he wasn't trying and stuff like that, which isn't true. And the way kind of he responds to it was like he kind of played to them and just pretended that he wasn't. He'd be, you know what I mean? Which, it doesn't. To me, I can see why he would do that, But the shit he used to get was pretty hectic. Whereas now people have kind of seen the vlogs and seen, no, that's just how he is. He's just that's just how he goes on, and it's definitely, I think, showed a lot of people another side to him, and it comes across now. He is just so funny. such a good crack.
Did he ever do Supercross? I've only just started watching that.
He did Supercross in America. He made Supercross. He did 2 years of Supercross, I think.
So where we watch his last vlog?
Where was he in that?
He's jumped on the YouTube bandwagon. Ed's got him on it as well. Ed helps spoon feeds him a bit more, because we're in a group chat just about the vlogs and stuff, and me and Ed are obviously both pretty into YouTube and stuff like that, so we come up and send video ideas and something like this, and it all goes straight over his head. Ed's still kind of showing him the ropes, but his videos are, Ed does all his, so they're pretty well made and well put together. They're a good watch.
A quick question about Ed again. Ed's a very businessman with Kex and like the YouTube and Monster Energy and everything. Like, did he race himself? What was Ed's background before all that?
He rode as just a hobby level and stuff. He never was, I think, fast enough to make it pro or anything like that. But what actually happened was, Tommy's from down south, like Surrey way, and he moved up to the Midlands right by Ed. Ed's always had a track at his house. So when Tommy moved to the Midlands, when he turned pro, they started riding together, and they're the same age, so they would just start hanging out, and then that's how it all kind of came about. So then Ed would go to the GPs with Tommy, got himself into the media side of things. They went to America together. And that's how
it developed.
It's kind of got to where it is.
I was just going to say, were you saying we've got a discount code for the...
So Kex, I'm just going to double check what it was. I think it was Motorbike Pod. Yeah, is that what I said?
Mm-hmm. And while you're checking that, and obviously thank you for the discount code, Ed, and thank you very much, Billy, but here's a daft question. For motocross now, if a young lad came along with genuine talent, let's talk about Hayden Stat. Hayden Stat, he's like, Fred, he's the only motocrosser I know. Now, if money was nothing, which country would you send him to? Because it's like, you talk about the Europeans, you talk about the
I'd say Europe.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just a lot more, everything's kind of a lot more accessible. Good tracks. Here in England, we have good tracks, and if the weather's right, we have good tracks, but I don't really know too much. Obviously, I'm not really too involved in motocross. I follow it quite closely, and from Tommy and whatever, but I'd say Europe. But again, this time of year, most of them are in Spain, because it's too cold and snowing in Belgium's not much different climate to here, but then summertime, like from springtime, summertime Belgium, I would say. But again, don't quote us on that. I'm not.
You see,
or America is another option. Depends how much money you've got to throw in it.
I was about to say, because like the Americans for me are the rock, like, to be blunt, the rock stars. I know Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichaels, the James Bubba Stewarts and stuff. It's the American, the European
but
names.
Again,
I can't remember
in recent years, like the last sort of 5 years, if you go for like destinations wise, and if you go for actual speed wise, the Americans have been quite far off the pace.
Really?
It's a little bit like MotoGP.
The Europeans have kind of took over speed wise, the industry, I would say, and like I think I don't really know, but at the top level of both, I would say the money's pretty much there. But I think there's definitely more of a spread of it in America than opposed to Europe.
Because I was about to say, because Husqvarna, who you ride for, where are they a bit?
Austria, yeah.
Is KTM are from there, or the
KTM group owns Husqvarna and now GasGas. You probably don't know what GasGas is,
I've just seen they've bought GasGas and they're going to run a bike in Moto3.
Moto3 is it? Yeah.
GasGas, so it's pretty much the same with KTM and Husqvarna.
Yeah.
And then it's the rest. Is it literally the Japanese bikes after that?
Yeah, but
in
motocross, Japanese still haven't really got involved in enduro yet, which kind of baffles us. I don't really know why. I couldn't answer the question, but for how kind of popular, especially kind of the hard enduro, extreme enduro has got to, they're still not involved. So.
Do you go out to Austria much for like official tests?
Yeah, well, the race team.
Imagine, the official Husqvarna announcement. Hello, pet. Yeah,
no,
that's a belter of a bike.
They quite like me for testing for some reason. They seem to enjoy my feedback. I get invited to quite a few.
Mint. That is mint.
Maybe
even quite a few. Like,
you twit. It's over. It's over.
You want to get one of these bigger cans? You can get a much better grip. These bigger cans, you just get a solid grip.
Sorry.
I've done quite a few. Last year, summertime when there was no racing, I did a lot more testing than usual. But the race team is based in Italy.
Right.
It's obviously all the bosses and everything are Austrian and on our sorts.
Watch me new pants there from Ed.
So, like, for example, if the factory develop a new clutch, would they just get you take it to a test place and just
it just depends. It just depends kind of what it is. They have a really big and quite impressive like R&D program. So like the KTM, Husky, GasGas, they work quite the R&D people. I'm not sure how much I'm kind of allowed to say, but they work quite far in advance. To compare to like the current models and stuff like that, so kind of production things they've got some good riders and some good people involved with, but occasionally like this year summertime I went out and did an R&D test on the next model bike, and just while I had a broken leg actually I was supposed to go and do a test with it, well not a test but try the clay bike. So it's just to see the plastics and like the ergonomics, I guess you would say, and like the layout, how it feels and stuff like that. Which
when you first started racing or trials riding,
it's mad, isn't it?
We're talking about like replica bikes and helmet.
It's mad, isn't it? How
old are you?
23.
23.
It is mad. It's mind blowing. Like, and I go.
He's punching well above his weight with a South African girlfriend. He's sponsored by an energy drink. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's mad. And at the end of the day, like, I still just enjoy going and riding my bike. Like, I'll come home and ride with my mates from around here at Camus motocross track or at schoolhouse or something on a weekend. Do you know what I mean? And then when you think what you actually do.
It's class, mate.
So I didn't actually get to go and do the clay test. I had a checkup on my leg, so couldn't go and do that. But yeah, the R&D and testing things, they're quite on it, to be honest. KTM.
Do you enjoy those days?
Yeah, I do, to be honest, and I enjoy learning and stuff like that. I really find, obviously now the Husky's fuel injected 2-stroke, which in off-road bikes is. They were a couple of other brands had done it, but they kind of really took it on, and they kind of had to, I think, because of emissions, but so they had no choice to develop it. And so I worked quite a bit with that, and I really enjoyed. This is probably going to sound weird, but I enjoyed maths at school, and I like looking at the graphs from the bike and stuff like that. Which is, I know road racing, it's kind of what you're all doing, but it's not really too common in off-road. And I think it kind of has its place. I think our racing, you don't need to think about it. There's that much human involved in changing conditions and stuff. It doesn't matter race wise, but just to learn and to understand, I enjoy it a lot, and I like to kind of look at the graph and work out at this many RPM, the bike was at this hot, at this point of the hill climb, the bike was at this temperature, and understanding what cooled it down, what heated it up or whatever. So I do a bit, and I try to, if the R&D one is, then I'm usually enjoy going. And they eat well as well. They put you in usually put you in a nice hotel, and you get a good spread at lunchtime. We always have steak for dinner. So R&D tests I like a lot. They treat you better on an R&D test than they do at like a race team test when we go test the race bikes.
Mint.
I was going to ask about, obviously, because you're racing World Championships and different, like we were talking about motocross being massive in America and so on. Is there any particular nation where like enduro is massive? Do you know if you look at your YouTube stats and stuff across the world, where's like the majority of your views?
YouTube wise, it's UK and America. Instagram followers is the majority is American, but I've never even been to America. Well, went to America when I was 4 on holiday, and I've never been back yet. I was supposed to do a race this year, like last year. Obviously, COVID hit, and then again we're supposed to do one this year. So hopefully, I can actually get there. I'd like to go to America and ride and stuff, but so I guess it's pretty big there. But it's big in a lot of strange places. Well, not so much strange, but like South Africa, it's really big. But again, we're kind of don't really know about it in England. It's big in England, and especially the hard enduro. Well, not so much about, but people just seem to enjoy going out and getting the bike stuck and getting unstuck, and then getting stuck again and getting unstuck. Or going and smashing the bike. That's all they like doing. And so it's pretty big here. South Africa's big. Israel, it's quite big. I've been to Israel a few times, but most countries throughout Europe. Romania, it's huge. That's like where Romaniacs obviously is.
Yeah.
Israel's doing. I was going to say Israel's doing mega with the COVID thing. Have you seen?
No, but I do know from when I've been there, they've. I do know that the medicines and stuff like that in the hospital, I know from what the guys have said, they're very advanced there, so I can believe that with the technologies and stuff. But yeah, that's quite big. All of Europe, really. Spain, like any motorsport, Spain's huge.
Imagine it, next time you go to America, imagine if you land and like there's just loads of people at the airport. Right?
South Africa is where I get recognised the most, to be fair. But I also think it's now because of YouTube.
Not your paedophilic moustache. Nothing to do with that.
But you can see it now because of YouTube. Usually they just see on Instagram with a helmet on and not too much, unless they look closely at your stories. But I guess the majority don't. Now they've watched YouTube videos and they've seen me closely, and I could not believe the amount of people when I've been in South Africa just now. Like we drove down for Christmas at a different spot where Roxy's family have a holiday home. Stopped at a fuel station in the middle of nowhere. Literally, and some guy was like, "Are you Billy Bulls?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I have a picture?" I'm like, "Okay." Look at Roxy, we're like, "All right, this is getting out of control." But like even like the week before, we'd just be like out for a restaurant or whatever, and I honestly think it's just from YouTube. I haven't been anywhere else since, really, because.
Do you get much of that in Newcastle?
Not too. I'm not. I can't even remember the last time I went to the city centre. I remember I was getting pushed down in a wheelchair when I broke my leg 2 years ago, and I was in what's the shop called? The posh on Cruise. Was it Cruise? It's not Flannels, the other one that was there before anyway, the posh shop. And then 2 guys come up to us there, and I'm like, well, just make sure one of these staff's looking what's going on here. And nothing came of it. A couple in Newcastle.
Do you go out, obviously not at the moment with COVID and that, but did you used to go out clubbing and that in Newcastle?
Nah, I used to when I was still in school, really. But again, I'm not in Newcastle at all, really.
Were you more of a big market, or was it?
No, it was
flares, giving it 9s.
Tiger, and I was Tiger. Digi on a Monday was the thing. Digi Mondays was the thing.
Tiger on a Friday.
One of my mates from school, dad used to be something. Everyone's mates from school's dad knows the bouncer, don't they? But anyway, he actually did know the bouncer, so he used to get queue jump at Digi Mondays, and we used to think, oh, that's shit, because we just used to waltz to the front of the queue. I forgot what the bouncer was called. I think it was called Keith. He says Keith here. And
shit.
But anyway, that was way back. Like no one knew. That was when I was still riding trials. So I was on like a couple of thousand followers, nothing. But I haven't been out in Newcastle or in the city centre really. I haven't been anywhere. I haven't been in UK for the last 3 months. So since the YouTube really started, so
I bet you're happy to be back. Not. You've come from South Africa with the missus.
So going from the only bit proper world endurance race that you did was Romaniacs.
I think it seems weird that was the only race I did abroad. No, I did another one I did Turkey, Sea to Sky, but that wasn't meant to be part of the World Championship.
How did you do in both?
But that went ahead. Sea to Sky was 4 days, and I won 3 days, and then on the last day, fucked up. Like most things, I fucked up. I won 3 out of the 4 days. The last day was leading. Was 3 of them were riding together, and all I had, because it was all your days added together, so I had like a 3-minute cushion. So all I needed to do was finish with the leader, so I was chilled. And then 2 guys in front actually fucked up this beginning of this hill climb, so I went for, I'm going to break. I'm going to win all 4 days. I'm going to be the boy here. going up this hill climb, and then I got lost a bit. Not lost, but I was looking up and I couldn't really see any markings. And we had a GPS. It's not a GPS race, but we had one as backup because you finish at the top of the mountain, and quite often the cloud comes in and you can't see the flags or like the arrows.
All right.
And because I hadn't needed the whole race, I wasn't really checking anyway. I kept going. I ended up going onto the track again from last year, which was no longer same track. And we had with dispute of the course, the organisers, they reckon that there was no tape there, and I was definitely following the tape of last year's race because I started following it and I got to it was orange tape, KTM tape, and I'm like, this is really faded, this tape, if they've just put this out. And then I turned around and nobody was behind us, and that was it. And I finished the race I finished that day 5 minutes behind, ended up 3rd overall, which I was devastated about.
But collectively, was that like a 4-round champion?
Collectively 3rd. It was 4 days. 4 days racing, so every day added together. And I'd won the 3 days, and then I fucked up on the last day, but fucked up enough that I managed to come over the line of not lose enough time. I was still on
the podium. Yeah,
I was still 3rd overall. I finished 4th of the day, but 3rd overall. And then Romania. Where did I end up in Romania? I actually had a really good Romania. Romaniacs is the race I struggle with the most by a long way. It's so hard and so long. It's tough. I do struggle with it. But I was 4th or 5th. I can't quite remember. I think I was 4th. No, it was 5th because Alfredo, my teammate, who we rode together a bit the last day, kind of helped him out. He was battling for 3rd, so then the other guy he was battling with was 4th, so I was 5th. But I was happy. I ended up winning the last day overall, which is, for me, at that race is big, as I'd struggle with that race so much. Usually, like, you start, it's called Sibiu, the capital. I don't think it's a capital, but it's a big city in Romania anyway. That's where the hotel is, and you usually drive like an hour, 40 minutes each morning to the start. Same from the finish back to the city, and usually I like arrive back from the race, and the 2 of Graham and Alfredo teammates are there, changed, waiting for me to finish, and like everyone's packed. The vans are packed away, waiting for me to arrive so they can leave. So I finished each day pretty much with the leaders. The first day I came over the line first. But I started first that day, so I was like 3rd overall, and then 1 overall the last day, so 5th overall. But I was definitely happy with that, to be honest.
So is that classed as a world championship with only being 1 round?
No, there was no championship.
Fair enough.
No championship for the year, but no, I was very, very happy with it. Really, it kind of gives us a lot of belief, and like usually I go into that race thinking I can't win, I just want to finish. Whereas now I won the last day, so I'm actually excited. And usually I hate it, but to be honest, this year I'd got my head around it and kind of understood a lot more what you needed to do, and such a long, because it's the longest days by far. They're sort of from 6 to 8 hours for 4 days in a row,
riding
non-stop. 10 minute service point in the middle of the day, and that's it. So
was that physical endurance you had to change, or was it, what did you have to change to make that work?
Just kind of understanding it's the most difficult track as well. So just understanding the patience in like the day is just made up of like millions and millions. It sounds obvious, but like millions of tiny margins, and understanding like fucking up here is going to affect this hill climb for the next. Because if we're going up a hill straight and it gets so steep, then we start traversing and zigzagging or whatever. So like 1 fuck up here means you go 10 foot further up the hill, so you gained 30 seconds or whatever on the hill. So I just understood kind of a lot more where not to make mistakes, and definitely kind of backed it off a bit to go faster on the slower sections. On the fast sections of the extreme riders, I'm probably one of the faster riders from A to B, probably within the top 2 or 3. It's probably quite close between general just speed from A to B. So I didn't really have any problems there. But yeah, just understood kind of the race a lot more, and and actually I enjoyed it this year for the first time, so I was definitely happy.
Yeah, that's my. And you mentioned helping your teammate as well. Is that a thing, like quite a common thing in enduro? In terms
not so much. Well, it is and it isn't.
To ride together and like.
Yeah, well, the last day we were riding together. Anyway, I actually didn't realize, but they were so close. And on the last day, you finish in the city and you go up like a band. This year, you went up in a abandoned building to the finish line.
Class.
So, where you get as you do all the as we went off the service point where I was there, and we'd been together the whole day anyway. I started. So you start each day off where you finished the previous day. So I think I finished 4th. He finished 3rd. Caught him up, and then we caught the rest of the guys up. So we were riding together, and at the service point at the day, I was like, "Oh, what's it like for like overall?" He's like, "Oh, me and Wade, who was the other guy, it's like 10 seconds between third." So we're riding together, and even the other guy was with me for most of it, and then eventually, so we kind of broke, but it was raining so bad. We didn't have our goggles on because they'd already been spun and they were covered in shit, and so we didn't have our goggles on. So I kind of was like leading the way.
Would there be team tactics in terms of like, say, if your teammate had a chance for a podium, but you had to like slow somebody else up? Is it possible to like?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Is that foul play?
I wouldn't go, that's kind of foul play. But what if he's stuck? Just say once I actually got off and pushed him up. And usually, quite often, especially in Romania, because we're in on mountains where it's like safety comes into play. So quite often, we'll help each other up, teammate or not teammate. If like there's an uphill where we're thinking it's quite dodgy, we'll like turn around and okay, we'll help each other. So you help him and I'll help him. So like on the last day, for example, I was pretty much safe in 5th. The guy in 6th bike broke at the service point. And the other guy man was like an hour behind it in time, so I'd like push him up and I'd say go, and then I'd caught him up, and then the last sort of 20k's is just fast through the trees. And that race mainly relies on navigation, so the 2 GPSs on your handlebars. So I would be like in front, and then if I miss a corner, I'd like wave to him so he doesn't have to follow my line. I'd be like left. So stuff like that.
Is that just a tactic?
Stuff like that, just between me and him, because obviously he was battling for 3rd and I was pretty safe. And so we kind of tried to push, because him and the other guy were together for like the whole day. Us 3 rode together the whole day pretty much. And towards the end, we pulled a little bit on a hill climb on him. Just he made a mistake, so like, okay, we'll go at the top of here and try and get you a gap.
Have you ever worked out how many calories you do in a day?
Oh my God.
No,
roughly.
No, I haven't.
If you're riding from 6 to 8.
I was through phases with like watches and heart rates and stuff. I'll have like a month. I'm like, right, I'm watching, I'm analysing, but it's that month of being really specific never fell over an actual race. Oh, but I know I had a polo on. I did a race in South Africa called Roof of Africa. It's one of the main big hard enduros. In 2016, I had a polo watch on, and my daily expenditure was I think 1,400%.
Oh my God!
On the daily expenditure on the what's it called? Just daily percentage of what.
Would that be like 6,000 calories or something?
I honestly don't know, but I'd guess something like that.
Holy crap!
Maybe it's even a bit more on a long day. Because your heart rate spikes so high as well. If you have to get off and push your bike, you think it's like a 100 and something kilogram bench press.
Dragging it, and
or like it's mad. It's weird what you can do. Like your body's strength. Like
if you were in the gym, you probably couldn't lift it.
So we call it like a Romanian deadlift. It's not really a deadlift, but it happens in Romania. So if you're traversing across a hill, say the camber's that way, you're traversing this way, and your bike goes all the way over. Mm-hmm. So like your wheels are pointing upwards. It's a basically clean and press. I don't even know why we call it a deadlift, but it's like up. up, and it's like, I don't even know how heavy a bike is these days, but it's 110-ish, I think.
When they're wet and covered in
wet. So you're on a hill, your feet are slipping away from you, and you're going, but then you get in a gym and clean and press 100. I wouldn't be anywhere near clean and pressing 100 kilograms.
Is your teammate the same size? Because the thing is,
I'm the biggest by quite a way, but which is helpful in that situation. But on like an 8-hour day where you try and limit them situations to like minimal. So on an 8-hour day of riding, I'd say,
is that what an enduro time frame is?
It just
like
depends.
roughly
Like
8 hours.
It's so vast. Like a British Championship race, for example, because we don't have the space and the land to do an 8-hour. That's like 8 hours, 100 to 150 Ks, one lap. You just follow it on your GPS, just up a mountain, down a mountain. So we don't have that in England. So we do in British Championship Extreme Enduro, it's 2 hours 30 and multi-lap race. So like a 10-minute lap and as many laps as you can do in 2.5 hours. Which is as hard because they're so intense. They're like, you're redlining for like 2.5 hours on your heart rate, pretty much.
I was just about to ask, like, what's my now? Considering you've done MX1, you know, like at such a high level, what knacks you more, an 8-hour race or 20? How long's a race at MX1?
Again, it depends. It's
20
so hard
minutes
to
plus
say.
2 laps or something?
25 plus 2, I think we did that day. It's so hard to say because you have a day where you have no problems. You don't have to do any Romanian deadlifts, and you don't have to go off and push your bike. Your bike's working good. Your tires, mousses are working good. You finish fairly good. You have a day where your mousse expands and blows up. So like, your tire goes rock hard, which occasionally can happen. You get no grip and you're just pushing from start to finish and your arms are cramping. And so it's so vast and like it's so hard to say. You might start 15 minutes after someone else and it might rain on a pass for you. So they might get up a pass when it's bone dry. It might start pissing down and the hill's that steep you physically can't get up without teaming up with someone behind you.
My God.
You know what I mean?
It's more of an enduro event.
That's what.
Yeah, it comes into. And again, some races are short. Some races are like Erzberg, which is probably the most famous. Which is, you know, it's claimed to be the kind of the hardest. It's like the original. It's kind of what made the sport big, and it's like all the hype's about it. And it's one of my favorite races, but it's claimed to be like the hardest. But it's nowhere near the hardest. I don't think it's like that's like it takes the winner usually an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's like a 27-kilometer lap sprint almost because we spend the whole week walking the track. We know where every rock in the quarry is pretty much. But again, it's still hard. That's like a sprint for 2.5 hours. Whereas you start a day in Romania, you look at your GPS and like the number one rule is don't zoom out because it depresses you how far you've got to go. So don't
zoom out.
You've got 150 kilometers to go and you have no idea what direction you're going in. But yeah, this was the first year I didn't zoom out once because I wasn't in a point where I wanted the finish line. I was happy.
So here's another question, right? What is the most dangerous enduro event in the world?
Romania, by a mile.
Really?
And again, I don't want to put people off because there's 4 different classes. So there's gold, silver, bronze, and iron. So we do gold, which usually gets about 10.
You'd think iron would be the hardest one. Sounds rad, doesn't it? It's like,
iron's actually a new class.
Iron Man.
They only brought that in the last few years because people are getting soft. They want a trail ride. But people are. You can understand it though, and there's people that are spending a lot of money coming from all over the world. They want to finish a race. Do you know what I mean? They want to get all 5 days worth of riding. But gold usually gets about 10, 12 finishers. It breaks like there's nothing you can say like I thought I was prepared for. I'd just come when I first went my first year at Erzberg. I'd just finished 5th from the second row, which if you know what that is, that's quite impressive. I was close to being on the podium there. I thought I was the boy. It was like I'd been doing enduro a couple of months and I was getting such good results. Like honestly, thought I was the boy. Prologue day, which is where you race in the city over just the obstacles and stuff. Obviously, that was what I'm all about, riding over obstacles and stuff. I was like fastest qualifier there against all these pros. I ended up finishing 4th in the prologue. I just died. I ran out of oxygen. Still thought I was the boy and set off into the mountains for the first time, and I just thought, what is going on? Like, not a single thing anyone could have said could have prepared us just for the length, the steepness of the hills, the length of the hills. Like, you'd be going down a downhill in a straight line with your engine off on the brakes, 20 minutes in a straight line, going down a downhill like that, just and then your brake will boil and you'll have a bit of a moment and you'll slam it.
That sounds raged.
There'll be times like going down hills and it gets steep. You think picking up too much speed. You just got to try and make the bike slide sideways into a tree to stop you. Otherwise, it's free fall.
Oh my God! So who's the boy then? So like in our era,
you know him who you said you liked him going through a shed.
Is he like? So we've got like at the moment, for like me being a TD rider, McGuinness is the boy.
He's like the McGuinness. Yeah, he's pretty much, but he's still winning. He's
drop a name by the way. What's his name?
Graham Jarvis. Sorry,
Graham Jarvis. There you go. For
he's right for Husky. He's one of my teammates.
Right.
He's classed as like the grandfather.
So he's like the old guy's 46, I think.
He's still riding through a shed.
He looks about 60, but he's a 46. And he's been around a while. He was also a trials rider, like really, really good level, top 3 in the world level trials. 2003. That was one of my favourite DVDs when I was a kid. World Trials Championship 2003.
He did really well in lockdown with the whole YouTube thing.
He's got a lot of. He's nearly on 1 million followers on Instagram and stuff like that. Which he just hits the people. Like he gets that market where all they want to see is a wheelie or something, which I find quite boring or quite. You're like. But it's good, like, we'll take the piss when we're at a test or at a race, we're like, oh, fucking hell, Graham, you're banging another wheelie video online today, and he's like, yeah, might as well.
Well,
might as well, the fans want to see it. Like, people, like, I give them quite a bit of shit in comments, and people then start giving me shit because they don't realise, like, it's crack. It's crack. I'll be like, just comment pure, like, shit to him, and he doesn't really comment back, or he literally posts it and doesn't really check much.
Is he a local lad?
No. He's from down south, but he spent most of his life living in Ripon.
Oh, right. Reasonably still southern then. Still a southerner.
He still sounds southern. He still speaks southern. So anyway, he's won the most races ever.
Right.
And he's getting on, but he still has the odd race or two a year where he spanks everyone. Usually Erzberg, the biggest one of the year, he turns up to play. But even Romania, this year he was still in it until the last day, and then the last day he kind of dropped off the pace and finished third. But
never.
So he's the boy. Him who enjoyed him going through his shed.
That's mint. But hold on, so 40, and he's still at the top of his game. Considering it is like, in my opinion,
is, like with our stuff, it includes and involves that many different things and
that's what I mean.
Aspects and it's weird. Like you put him on a motocross track and he's 20 seconds a lap slower than me. But in Romania, like when we're in between the obviously the mountains and we're on forest roads, we're on dirt tracks, single tracks, the speed A to B is like, to me, it's as fast as I could go on the bike. And on a 20-minute stage of like single track or dirt road or forest road, I'll be going as fast as I can physically go, and he'll lose like a couple of seconds over 20 minutes worth of riding. Maybe it's 30 seconds over 20 minutes, something like that. Not a lot.
Aye.
So, but you put him on a motocross track, a 2-minute lap, he's 20 seconds a lap behind. He's just hardwired to riding his enduro bike over rocks, and he's like one speed. Whether he's on a single track dirt road, tarmac road, or going up a riverbed, is just one speed, and it's like so efficient and works so well for him. He's definitely got the knack of it, put it that way.
It's just dead interesting, because the thing is, age is such a big part of this sport for some damn reason. It's like when you think like BSB level, it's like if you're not on a bike at like bloody 4-year-old at like British level, it's like it's unheard of. But then you think you've got a lad at 46. But I think, in my opinion,
but I think from what you've said though, he was such a good youth rider, amateur rider, kid as he was a kid. It's like I think you don't need to be, but you do get such a good base when you start off so young. Like it
sort of bodes well for you though, in terms of your length of your career.
Exactly.
So you can see him doing the business at that age.
I think it is good, and it shows you can still keep at it, and I'm quite pleased where I am. I wouldn't be sort of against kind of going and doing a couple of other different style races or whatever, and then come back to what I'm doing. There's a few races and stuff I want to win and want to have results at first before I think about doing anything else. But it's nice to know that if I do something else in 10 years' time.
Well,
in 20 years' time, really fucking hell, that's mad. In 20 years' time, I can come back and still compete if I'm anywhere near.
That's mint, though. You know what
it is? You got to take your hat off to him. Like, there's some races and days you can see where he's not feeling it, and he'll admit, I'm tired today or whatever. But then he lives in Spain. Well, he stays in Spain most of the time now. But when 2 years ago, I used to train with him quite a bit in England. And there'd be days he'd turn up, he'd be like, my back hurts, I'm going home after 10 minutes. And then there'd be days he'd be there, and I'd be following him for 2 hours.
At the vet.
I'd be there following him on his back wheel for 2 hours. I'd be fucked. Like, when is he going to stop? But obviously, I was only young. It was like my second year on Husky. Didn't want to show any signs of weakness. I didn't want to go back to the van first. And I'm just following him because he's got such a good to set a track out, it'd be awful to race on, but the way, if you're in a forest or whatever, just the way he thinks to ride and put himself into difficult situations and stuff, I've never known anyone like it. And he'll just turn or back on himself and up his arse and twisting and over logs and stuff at the most horrible angles and stuff. To just follow is hell. And
I think, does he do a bit of a race school or something? Yeah, well,
he's just actually launched a team. But he also does tours, so he's bought a proper piece of land in Spain. I've never actually been. I'm hoping to get down at some point this year because from what I've heard, it's a good spot. And anyway, you can go rent a bike off him and tours. He's not there for all of them. He either has someone else takes out, or you can get a package where he rides with you for a few days as well. But it's all on his land and stuff.
Have you been doing some sort of tours or training schools over in South Africa?
Yeah, I've done a few. I kind of just mix and match bits and bobs. I thought, I was in South Africa. This last trip I've just done was the first time I've actually got a full trip in South Africa. Usually, because it's so busy and racing, I race indoors in the winter. I don't really have any time off. So this time I was actually there, arrived, and there was obviously COVID happening here. I didn't know how long I was going to be there for. Did a few bits and bobs. So.
Have you been doing much riding out in the bush?
Yeah, quite a lot, to be honest. It's nice, again, like I say, usually to... who's he here?
Hold it together, Chris.
It's actually called the bush in South Africa. Like, what our Moor would be is their bush, but I'm still on South African lingo, to be honest. I haven't quite clicked onto the old... Jody Twang.
You're back home, son, now. There you are.
I'm back here now.
Back in the bush.
I have seen you been doing that.
I'm not answering any more questions. But no, I don't know. I did a lot of riding in South Africa, to be fair. Thanks. Husky South Africa were very good there. Just said whatever I need. So.
Well, is it that I could? No,
I'm hoping it's that one.
It is.
It's the third one. Yeah, that's fine.
You see, he's actually heard Billy Ball just go, fucking, I'm not answering anything. He's like, I'm going to have 5 minutes.
Is this one still on?
I have no idea.
No,
anyway,
it's still open.
Yeah, that's it.
It's still working, but I tell you what, though, for me, like, it's so refreshing to hear someone who actually, at your level, you could be so easily tipped over the edge to be a full-on arsehole. You couldn't know. It's like, I'm at the top of my game, can't really do anything. But you talking about other lads and you're thinking about it all the time. To stay at the top, you've got to think at the top. And it's great to hear that you look up to other riders. You know what I mean? A
lot of people say, like, that they can't believe how normal, but obviously you do get the odd dickhead and the odd person who thinks they're a bit up themselves or whatever. But from what I've gathered, the majority of actual lads in racing or whatever are just lads at the end of the day.
Oh God, aye.
They just chat shit and fuck about.
Oh no, totally agree. But the thing is, for what I can see, what you can do on a bike, it's like, wait, you're at the top, and once you're at the top, it's who can you learn from, if you know what I mean. But
is there a good group in the sort of World Enduro paddock? In general, the lads?
Kind of we're all mates of each other, really. It's like we'll hang out, we're all kind of because KTM, Husky and Gas obviously covers not all of them, but a lot of the pro riders, so we're testing together and we're around, and it's a good vibe or whatever. But no, everyone's kind of mates. Most of us go out and have a beer afterwards together, and there's a good that's definitely done properly, how it's meant to be. I think we all race each other, smash into each other on the track, and then have a beer afterwards. It's done properly there from that side.
That's the way to do it. So you're talking about. Sorry, Chris, I had a good question about what's on the bucket list then. This is the thing I can't get over, because you're at the top of your game. What is on Billy Bolt's bucket list? Have a shave for one, but that's it.
Market that, man.
It is a full-on market. It's brilliant. It's full-on flavour.
The main, I said on the last one, the main thing is it just irritates people. And
It's brilliant, mate. You roll with it, son.
Do you know your merch with the mustache on, like the
It's
t-shirts
mint.
and all that?
It's
on,
mint.
you can give you a shopper plug it. Is it?
Oh yeah, shop bb57.com. I brought you some stickers. You can stick them.
Have a look at that. Hold on, I'm going to try and block your camera on the new angle here. Look at that. That is brilliant.
So
To bob
the shop, if you go on there, more stuff says out of stock. There's still some kids stuff in stock. Stickers are still on stock. Lanyards, a few bits and bobs still in stock. But anyway, the shop, we're having a big revamp, and it's going to be a couple weeks, probably a couple months yet, to be honest. But we're having a big revamp. But anyway, you still want to go on there. There's some kids stock of old t-shirts and stuff like that. So they're not going to be stocked again. So if you want to get some very rare, fine quality clothing, shop bb57.com.
That's the way to do it. Anyway, let's go back to this other question. What's on your bucket list? What events, any sport, anything? What's on the bucket list?
Good question. There's definitely races in the immediate future. I want to race. I want to win. Put it that way, in hard enduro and extreme enduro. That's kind of at the minute where my bread's buttered and where what I'm paid to do. So I want to. There's races I want to win. I've won a couple. I've won. Obviously I've won overall championships. Indoors. I want to win and few more championships there. I feel like indoors is definitely where I'm strongest, and I just want to race indoors. Like I would usually be doing it now, and it's, like I said, I don't know if I'm allowed to say when it's supposed to happen, but who knows? Well,
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, nobody knows, and again, no one knows if it's going to happen. I really, really just want to race indoors because I missed the year before.
Are you the current world champion?
Yeah, and I missed the season before that because of my broken leg. I broke my leg the Monday before the first round the year before, and I'd obviously, my auntie had bollocks, should be my uncle, but I feel like I'd have done pretty good the year before that as well. So I really, really want to race Super Enduro. And do a few more championships of that.
I sometimes think that's mad. Like say when you're on like flying around the world and there's like millions and millions of people in the world and you're the very best at super enduro.
Yeah, it's strange, but I don't know. Super enduro is a weird one because I don't know. I do feel like. To
be the best at literally at anything in the world is unbelievable.
It's weird. I just think it's a sport that's built around me though, like my strengths, and it's it kind of suits my riding style and my personality so well. That's kind of why I enjoy it so much, and I like the training side of it. I like the fact that we have such a mix, outdoor races wise, you can kind of do anything in its training, motocross, bicycle, and it's two wheels because we don't know what we're going to get in a race, do we? So whether we do 20 minutes flat out on a motocross track or we go riding in the moor for 3 hours, they're both training. Whereas indoors, obviously, we know we're going to do a 6 minute plus a lap race 3 times in a night. A lot more focused, this kind of track, and it's good to have the mix. So winter time, it's pretty serious, almost like a grind. You do a motos at the track. You can kind of, what you need to do. You need to just be redlined for 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Whereas, so we have a pretty good mix where I am. So I'm quite happy where I am. I started mountain biking a lot more in lockdown and stuff like that.
I've seen all the e-bike guys.
Yeah, well, that again,
it's good. That
I couldn't believe the response mountain bike videos got off my social media, and my social media grew a lot from it. So I started mountain biking a lot more and stuff, and I really, really enjoy mountain biking. Santa Cruz, I've started sponsoring as.
What are they?
Santa Cruz bicycles. So it's bicycle. They're pretty big. I'm pretty buzzing, to be fair. So I'd like to do a bit more on that side of thing. I'd like to do a few mountain bike races next year or this year.
Are we talking downhilling or?
Yeah, downhill and enduro, like Mega Avalanche. I don't know if you know what that one is.
I know that.
Where they start in the snow. I really want to do that race. That kind of looks like the equivalent of what we do on bicycles. And I'd like to do I don't know. I don't know how good I would be. I might be shit, and if I'm shit, then that's fine. I'd still do it for fun, but I'd like to at least have a go and see if it's worth. If I can be any good.
That's one on the bucket list. So how?
And also, Dakar is kind of.
Thank God you said it. I was going to ask it.
I know that's kind of it's a lot of road. Well, not a lot, but the road races are kind of sniffing around at Dakar.
Hillier with OMG.
McGuinness was going on.
Shut up, man.
Well, no, he was questioning me what I thought about it. He's got some guy out that he was. Well, you know what he's like.
Did you not go over to Dubai to do some sand?
Well, I went to Dubai.
That was a connection.
That was before I went to South Africa. Well, what happened was I finished Romania, flying home from Romania on the Sunday afterwards, and pops up on the news: UK going into lockdown on Thursday. This is on the Sunday as I'm flying back from Romania, and then don't really want to do another lockdown. There's no races. That was obviously the last race of the year. What we're going to do? Obviously, Roxy was over in Europe. At the time, she obviously wasn't allowed in to Europe for a while, being South African. So I thought, I don't want to go. Like, it's such a
lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what to do. Trying to work out what to do. And then we're like, at the time I couldn't fly as a UK citizen straight to South Africa because South Africa had a red list of countries and the UK was on them. So working out, Roxy's flight was booked via Dubai anyway. So let's just go to Dubai. Holiday time anyway, end of the year, no more racing, just finished Romania. Let's go to Dubai on holiday for 10 days. And then we can either decide, we can see how bad the UK lockdown is. So the day before, we went lockdown on Thursday, Wednesday flew from Glasgow to Dubai for 10 days. But we'll see how bad the UK lockdown is. Or if it looks pretty shit there, we'll both just go to South Africa. Because I usually go to South Africa December anyway. For that's their summer and kind of holiday season. That's usually the one time of the year I actually get to go there. So I will just see the crack when we're in Dubai. When sold Roxy that we're going on the holiday, ended up getting there. Few messages, bits and bobs. Do you want a 450? I'm like, okay then. The day I landed, the day after.
Go on then.
So you have to do a COVID test. When you arrive in Dubai and you've got to quarantine until it comes back negative. So do it at the airport, which is quite a sensible solution. And they're fast, like they come back, mine came back, 24 hours and it comes back. So quarantined the first day, like waited for the results and then text from there's a race in the desert tomorrow. So I'm not,
go on, twist me
waiting for my. I'm like, no. Where's this COVID result? Still hadn't got it anyway. It was my mate who I know who lives there anyway. He said, I'll pick you up at 5 because obviously do everything dead early there before it gets hot. I'll pick you up at 5, I think it was. Went to bed, still not having my test result, and I fucking hope it comes back because we landed in Dubai at like 2 a.m. and there's 24 hours, so like it would be 2 a.m, 24 hours cut off. Anyway, I woke up and had the negative result. I was thank God. So anyway, I got there. I thought I'm not going to race because I've never ridden in the desert at all. Period. Like never ridden sand dunes, never ridden in the desert. Don't know where this track goes or whatever. And like at the time also, Europe was pretty much going into lockdown, so all the Dakar boys like Sam Sunderland, Van Beveren, Toby Price, like all the Dakar boys had just arrived in Dubai. So Van Beveren and Sunderland were racing as well. I thought, I'm going to get fucking killed if I go out there. So I watched the race anyway and got a bike that day and started riding in the afternoon and just fucking loved it. Proper enjoyed riding in the desert and the dunes and went out with the Dakar boys a few times. The first time I properly went into the actual desert, like into no man's land in the desert, it was literally following them. I was like, well, I guess I'll just copy off them for a bit and try and keep up because they were just pinning it in a straight line.
It's like huge jumps.
Honestly, it's surreal when you watch it.
It's weird, like you don't want to jump too much because you don't really know how far, like what's on the other side of them and stuff, but it's just fast and like it's completely different in a way to ride and stuff like that, and they go really fast. But we were all just on stock 450 motocross bikes, so like they were getting pretty sketchy, I was getting pretty sketchy, like no suspension at all, like so soft and so such fast rebound for what, like they weren't used to it at all. But it was good. I just clung on to them and ended up riding my bike. I think we had like 2 or 3 days where I didn't ride in the whole 11 days I was in Dubai. I'd go riding in the morning and take Roxy to like the marina or like the Burj or something in the afternoon.
The shite stuff you mean?
Tomorrow, I'm riding in the morning, but afternoon we could go to the pool.
Do we?
So anyway, Dakar I was watching it quite closely before that for the last couple of years. Since they kind of started to make it quite a bit safer with the liaisons and the special stages and stuff like that, it's appealed to us a lot more. And then obviously being there with them guys riding in actual sand dunes, I was like, I quite like this. So that's
it's on the cards. You can tell in your eyes it's on the cards.
It's something I want to try, but again, I think now especially it's so navigation minded. Like if you're not good at navigation, there's no point even trying a race. So if
there's tapes, you're fucked. Any faded tapes, I'm following them.
There's no tape. It's all like old school GPS navigation in a road book, like written instructions. Dakar. And yeah, like literally a real, like a rolled up script. And it just that rolls up your screen. You press a button on the handlebars, and it just goes unwinds off this one and winds up on this one, or the other way around.
That is class.
Other way around. Sorry. and your instructions come up. So if I'd like to try it, and if I'm no good at navigating, then I'd happily say, okay, that's not for me. But if I was good enough to navigate, it would be something I would definitely think about closely.
What would Husky say? If you, in theory, if this is the mid-afternoon or whatever, you picked up the phone and went, yeah,
did they build?
I want to do Dakar.
Did they build a sort of Dakar special?
Yeah, they do Dakar. They've got quite a good Dakar program and stuff. I think I don't know. If it's
if you picked up the phone.
I don't know what they'd say about that. They'd probably want us to do a bit more in hard enduro first, which again is what I want to do. So it would probably line up quite well. I think there's definitely stuff I want to do where I am first.
You're very young, aren't you? So
exactly. Exactly.
Have you ever done anything on tarmac? Like,
nah, McGuinness keeps telling us he's going to take us riding, and then he'll phone us and be like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" This is about 10 o'clock at night. I'm not too sure. I'm going to Knock Hill if you want to come. I'm like, oh, great, John. I mean, down south somewhere.
I'm in South Africa, son.
I'll be down Birmingham, it's a bit far. You could do it, giving us a bit more warning. All right. No, and
you should have a go.
I'm desperate. I get on really well with McGuinness, to be honest, and
he's got crack about him, man. He's got a sense of humour, man.
Big into speedway.
I know. That's another thing. I love speedway so much, and I'm desperate for a go at that. I don't know if I'd be any good. I have no idea.
Yeah, apparently we can do it down in Red. How long are you home for?
No, Red. I know all about where you can do speedway.
I have no idea.
I know all the boys. A lot of the speedway boys I speak to quite a bit as well. Like Aaron Summers, he lives up in Annick. He races for a few.
Eric. Aaron was actually going to hire, I think, Berwick Speedway track, and said he was going to teach us. So if we could get that would be a class YouTube video.
I'd be 100%. I've literally for 3 years. I've probably 2 years with Aaron. Another year, I can't remember. I know quite a few of them pretty good. And
let's get that.
For years, I've been planning, and then it's, can you do this date? Yeah, okay, that's been rained off. Can you do this date? Oh no, I'm training somewhere there. It's just never lined up for 3 years, and it's done my head in. McGuinness, I've had it organised with. That's been rained off.
We've got to get this done.
Definitely.
Since the last time we chatted, I told you I was going to do a backflip on a motorcycle.
I've seen your attempts.
I am attempt piss off. It was on it. I'm telling you, right. I've been begging for a challenge.
What about flat track?
Have you ever done?
I've done flat track, but
you have done it.
I've done flat track, but on a time to there's a bit of it's like a time trial track at Ed's with left hand right corners.
Right, like
on a
TT.
450, like a TT track. Yeah.
I'm in the process of getting my motocross bike turned into a flat track bike, so I'm going to do it.
Do you earn a lot of cheddar at Husky? I'm just a humble woodcutter. I want to put a bet on the table here. I want to put speedway. I'm desperate.
Who's faster than lap time?
Yep.
Go on. I'll have a bet. How much we putting on?
How much put you? Piss off.
I was going to say 100.
Go on then. I got it.
What about mini bikes? Tarmac?
Yeah, no, I've never done anything on tarmac.
100 quid, I'll beat you.
Well, I'm not betting that one. I've never done anything on tarmac. Look at the fucking size of his on a mini bike on tarmac.
That's why I put it. I can't believe I've just bet you 100 quid at Speedway.
But I've loved Speed. I've been watching Speedway at Newcastle since I can remember. Since I was a baby, I used to get took there. I love Speedway so much. And I wanted to have a go when I was a kid. My dad would never let us. Newcastle always used to ask us to come and have a go, actually. One of the... forgot the guy's name. I forgot his name. He honestly used to... Because he's seen, there was a few bits in the Chronicle or whatever when I was doing British Championship schoolboys or whatever. They would always message and phone my mum and dad and say, bring him along. My dad would never let us. And then when I was an adult, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to have a go Speedway. He's like, all right, then never.
And you haven't done Speedway yet?
I've had it organised so many times, and it's just never materialised.
I do not care where I am in the country. You get this organised, I am turning up.
That's the point I'm at now. I was literally... But then it was lockdown, and then the tracks weren't hiring, renting them out and shit like that.
Hold on, what about Ed's place? Let's get something sorted.
We could have a day out there, but there's no speedway track there.
Build one. You've got diggers. You've got friends with pipes.
It's on a hill, but
dig it out, man. It'll be all right.
McGuinness knows someone over in the lakes that's got a speedway track. McGuinness is he'd be a good person to have along for a video anyway. He's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted. What's in the pipeline?
He's got plenty of bikes as well.
He's got plenty of money. Let's put the money in this here.
He's got plenty of speedway bikes. They're all sorts lying around his garage.
He's got a speedway chassis, but with a pit bike engine.
Yeah, he's got a 125.
I was about to say, what bikes we going on?
We're going 500.
Oh, it's getting tasty. This.
The one he knows doesn't have a fence, to be fair. You've got to run out. And they go on the beach as well.
That'd be cool.
Up by Blythe. Quite a lot of them. It's just after the tide's out. They used to anyway. I don't know if they still do.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to. We'll push it.
A speedway day is definitely.
I'll get Aaron on the job and we'll get the toy.
Yeah, Aaron will be keen.
I'm gonna get. You're gonna sign it after I've won it. Do you know what I mean? You're just gonna sign every note. This is how it's done.
Me and my mate, Jamie Lowe, who rides motocross, Western Beach Race every year. We have a friendly tenner on it. Friendly tenner. We
Have you won that?
No, I came third my first year, and then my second year, my bike didn't start on the start line. I started last, and then came fourth.
Yeah.
From the back.
I think there's a few YouTube videos.
Yeah, there's a fun, but it's like my dry brake and my fuel line unclipped. It's like mad. It's like that's a conspiracy theory. The bike had been. I'd rode the bike the 2 days before, and then we left the tank on. Said no, leave everything on, just wash it. Warmed the bike up in the morning, up to temperature. Got the fan on. Yeah, warmed the bike up in the holding pen. Rode from the holding pen to the actual start. As I pulled up to the start gate, just and I'm there with like 1,000 people ready to come past us, because I was obviously in the seeded riders and got my elbows out and did a bit of headbutting and got to the gate first. So I'm first to go out the gate with like 1,000 people behind us, but bike that's just not starting. And I had another operation on my leg about 3 weeks before that, just to have some scar tissue took out of it. So I hadn't really healed. So I'm like holding that up against the up by the handlebar, so no one crashed into my leg while I'm fucking waving my arms up and down.
Jesus wept.
Pushed it to the pits, and then the mechanic goes. I actually did fiddle with it just in case it was something wrong with it, but I didn't plug it in. The mechanic plugged it in and set off a few minutes behind.
A hand on the tools, son.
I'm actually, as far as riders go, not too bad. Although everyone in that YouTube video, I change a tyre, everyone thinks I'm shit at changing tyres, but I'm not. It was a brand new Moose, and without a ribbon.
Another excuse. He's got a few.
I'll give anyone. I got shit in the comments saying I couldn't change tyres, and I'll give anyone a new tyre and a new front Moose without a tyre machine, just doing it on the floor, and see how well they can do. But so next vlog, when I get down to Ed's, I'm getting the tyre machine out, and I'm laying into it and showing under a minute I can change a tyre.
Who's the boy? What's in the pipeline for 2021 then?
Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully we go racing. And, yeah, I'm feeling good. Like I trained hard in South Africa. Like I got a really good, kind of almost like a boot camp, would you call it? While I was in South Africa, so fit and my legs kind of since 2008, I've struggled obviously with the movement in my foot. It's still not there, but it's improving. I've actually starting to get a bit of muscle in my left leg, which is only going to help with balance and coordination and everything. So I'm feeling really good. Just desperate to go racing again. Like last year, I came off the Super Enduro. I'd won most races in 2 rounds of the British Championship before COVID hit. It was like every time the year when I broke my leg, I just won the World Championship. I was riding so well, broke my leg. Every time I kind of get real momentum behind us, just kind of gets pulled away. Like again,
here it comes.
Romaniacs this year, I've got the win on the last day. Riding like really happy with my bike. Made some like the testing we did through COVID. I made some good steps with my bike. I'm really happy with how that feels. COVID's hit again, so I just want to do races.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'll race anything. Whatever, if there's no enduro, I'll go race motocross. If there's, I'll do whatever's going to happen this year, just to race.
Good man.
I'll even get myself on a road bike if that's the only racing that's going to happen now.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm looking to get...
That would be a very popular
I'm looking to get myself a little mini bike to train on, so if I do get one sorted, you'd be more than welcome to come down to Teesside and have a bash. And
I'll keen for a rip on anything that's got to.
Dom races in like the British Championships for the mini bikes, so he's there like...
I dabble.
What's happening with the TT this year?
What TT?
Is it cancelled already?
Scrub Northwest has cancelled. The only thing I think I'm really positive that'll go is the Macau Grand Prix in China. So, bar that, not as far as like,
because I just seen the Isle of Man's like normal now, isn't it? Did you see the no restrictions?
Swines drinking pints, having a good time, cracking on. I
just didn't know if they were going to try and do like a bubble for the riders and do something.
It would have been great, but
it's too many. You can sort of see from their point of view, especially
just like it'd be quite. No, I wouldn't. It'd obviously not be the same, but just have the riders and mechanic each or whatever there, like just the team members do like 2 weeks beforehand, and then
we would do it
exclusive to Ireland members to watch it, like no spectators. But again,
it's trying to get the money in.
It's like any kind of race, like our race, and kind of rely on like 300 hobby riders paying entry fees to make it feasible. That's why a lot of our races haven't gone ahead, because you it's all well and good having 15 pro riders and a TV crew, but then that's not making the event organizer any money.
That's the thing.
It's making the bosses, like the head people, money, but it's not making the people who they're putting the tapes out and making the actual grafters of the events rely on the hobby riders' entry fees, don't they? So,
yeah, that's it. Even like British, it's the same with us, and it's the same. But I think as far as any events that potentially go, you ever heard of the 700?
Yeah.
So I'm really hopeful that'll go steady on, because they've applied for dates for further on than July. So fingers crossed.
Got a few questions from our patrons. Just one from me quickly though. Obviously, you've spent a long time living over in South Africa. What's it like living there? And is it safe? And like what's
it's safer than the perception.
It's Wallsend, man.
Well, that's also true.
What's that?
From Wallsend. If you can,
some bloke shooting someone gun.
If you can wander down there, if you can wander from the metro station up to the other side of Wallsend on a Thursday night, you're pretty much good from anywhere. But it's a lot safer than the perception it gets. A lot of people say, "Fucking hell, it's dodgy out there," and stuff like that. And it is in areas, and there's areas where you don't want to go into.
Are people armed? Do you have to take a gun?
Not very, very rarely, to be honest. I know a few people that carry guns.
Like, when you're out riding in the bush, you don't take.
And I find it more in the rural areas and stuff where people really don't have anything, and it's like mud huts. It's quite eye opening. Like you take a normal British person there and just take them out for like a few days, they'd be like, wow. Mm-hmm. In the proper rural areas where it's all mud huts and toilets and stuff like, everyone waves at you in the front. That's where we're doing most of the riding, in the bush. Right. So everyone there is friendly. I know of people being held up in stuff like that, but in cars and stuff like that, in cities at traffic lights and stuff. But for me, you go down the wrong street in Manchester and you're fucking shitting yourself, aren't you? You know what I mean? Like there's areas of everywhere where you can't go.
Way high.
Where so it's. I'd say it has its, it's very different. Most people live on like gated estates with security and stuff. Like you fingerprint in and out of like the estate where you would live, and like a lot more security guard. Like you go to like a shopping centre and there's like quite big security because there's a lot of kind of holding shops up and stuff. But and a lot more like corruption, whereas here there's not, you don't really think about that. But again, I've never really encountered too many problems. I feel safe there.
What about wildlife when you're out in the bush?
you don't see too much.
You just like seeing the word bush.
Yeah, you see a lot of like buck, it's called, which is like deer and stuff like that. Snakes, you see quite a few snakes, but you don't
dangerous snakes or
well, I don't really know what snakes are dangerous. They all look fucking terrifying. Snakes are actually like, they're scared of the noise of motorbikes, so they usually scurry off.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because I'm not overly keen on snakes, but you don't tend to cruise past.
Good to know that. Yeah. Any other fears?
You don't tend to cruise past lions and stuff like that. But I've been to game reserves and stuff and seen lions and all of them, elephants, tigers, all of them.
Seen your dog's got a YouTube, Instagram thing now.
Yeah, Roxy's dog, small dog Lola. Shout out if anyone wants to follow.
Right, we've got some Patreon questions. So, first one is off our friend Mark Reynolds, and he said, "How does it feel to be the second best YouTube motorbike vlogger now that Tommy has stolen your crown?"
Oh, yeah.
Good lad, Mark. Good lad.
Stupid question.
Stupid answer.
There's no competition.
You'll prefer this one. The second one is from NK. What's red and slow?
Tommy's Honda.
I've got some homework to do, haven't I?
Yeah, you're not. It's all YouTube related. See, it's crazy the following YouTube gets, and like, I guess because you. I'll put a good a strong Instagram video out and it'll be 100,000 plus views, 200,000 views or whatever. So and then YouTube video only gets like 20,000 views, you think, that's fucking nothing. But when you actually think about it and the amount of people that come up to you and say, that was mint, that was sick, I really like that, then you really think about it's like 20,000 fully engaged people, and
not just swiping on the phone,
and it's way more people than you realise. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like you were saying earlier, St James's Park, 60,000 or whatever. When you think about how many people do you actually know, like, closely, it's like, it's even more than that, even 20,000. So it's funny, like, you think, that video's only doing 20,000, but it's mad the amount of people that, you know, say stuff about it or you know, bring it up.
Another thing as well, which is something I never really understood until recently, is lots of people watch YouTube on your TV. We don't have a smart TV, so I've never really thought about it. But when I've looked at our stats, like this show, like 80% of people that watch our show watch it through a TV.
I watch YouTube on TV, Lord. Like I don't watch TV anymore.
Well, most people don't.
I lie in bed and first thing I'll go on is YouTube. And then if there's nothing on there, I'll go on Netflix. I don't even remember the last time I flicked through the actual TV stations.
Fair enough. Sniff and Skid Marks, enjoyed the Dirty Dozen. Any plans in the pipeline for more feature films? I've seen that.
I've seen that. And that was Billy Bolt Media. Hold on, is this?
Oh, that's not bad Billy Media.
That's mint. Is that?
That's nothing to actually do with me.
Is it not?
Oh,
That's,
I was like
that was a film anyway. There's a bit of not controversy, but that was a film Rockstar had made by Bad Billy Media, which is another.
There's a convenient link there. I'm not going there. Oh God, he's capitalising swine there.
So that was all kind of Rockstar's doing. I just kind of turned up and videoed that one. There's another one actually which I really like the segment. There's a bit doing e-bike ride like around Newcastle and Tynemouth and stuff around the northeast. Called Motor Core. This is really bad. I don't remember the name of it. But anyway, they've said I'm allowed my full segment to put on my YouTube channel to kind of promote the rest of the film. So that should be on my YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. And that's a really, really good segment. There's quite a bit of talking, like background stuff, and go riding at a few different places. At my track, out in Wales for a day, and another day on a two-stroke. So it just kind of covers everything, you know, ride 2-strokes, 4-strokes, pedal bikes, you know. So that's
Speedway track. Get one of them built.
Yeah.
Pull your finger out your ass.
The whole film's out. It's called Motor Core Revolutions, I think it's called. But anyway, my segment. It'll have the links for the whole film on my segment, which they said I can put on my YouTube channel. So it gives people a nice little recap of me, and obviously it shows, you know, where I grew up and pedal along the beach at Tynemouth. And
yeah, that sounds mint. I'm actually having
getting held up at gunpoint.
A wonderful Wallsend Weapon
by Buzzcocks, by a dentist.
I'm actually having a documentary made at the moment, but it was from the last half of the season last year, called Chasing the Championship, and it basically like followed us at the race and then all behind the scenes footage of like the championship. So I think that's due to come out in about March. But Dave, who filmed it, keeps sending us little clips, and it looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think that sort of rounds us off. Have you got anything else? Anything else to ask, Tom?
You got the £100. I want it in cash. I'm not touching one of your rubber band checkbooks.
We'll get that sorted.
Yeah, we need to get that sorted.
It's happening.
Take a bucket list off. That's been on my agenda for a while.
The good thing is, right, I've literally got nothing to lose. You've got a lot of respect to lose there.
I'm confident. I watch a lot of speed racing.
I've watched nothing. No. I'm literally off the
I've watched a lot, but from what I've heard from people that have tried it and people that have switched over,
it's solid.
It is nothing at all similar in the slightest, or nothing that you can even imagine.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's the only way I've agreed to this.
Apparently it's completely, obviously not irrelevant, but you throw everything you know about riding motorbikes out the window.
That's what you see. This is why I'm really hoping.
You're like almost shut off down the straights and power to go around the corners, because that's what obviously steps you back.
I've had a go.
Have you had a go?
I went to Wayne Carter's, runs a school down at Scunthorpe.
Yeah.
And the team I used to ride for used to hire they've got a practice track that were towards the side, and then they did let us out on the 500s around the full thing. But it is, you kind of like shut the throttle to flick the rear out, and then you catch it on the throttle, and then once it's out, you can pretty much sort of keep it there. But there's a bit of a technique to it. Yeah. I'm talking as if I'm like minted it absolute shit. But it is mint though.
I had half an hour in John McGuinness's horse pen at his pace, so I've got this, man.
I don't know how sick's John McGuinness's garage though.
Oh, he's just. I tell you what a lad.
That's my ultimate goals. That I think.
It's amazing. The whole thing's amazing.
The guy who helps us out quite a bit lives literally just around the corner from McGuinness. I used to actually stay at this guy's house a lot. I still do, and if I'm riding or whatever. So we'll just go around if we're bored, blast on his go-kart and a cup of tea on it at night time or whatever. But he loves it. I'll say I'm here, we're just out for tea or whatever, and it'll be like 9 o'clock by the time I've finished having dinner for being out at a pub or whatever for tea. Nah, you're fine. Still come on. We'll get the lights on. We'll get the go-kart fire.
Mint.
He just loves
He's a great bloke, John.
He's a lad.
I've got a lot of time.
Really nice to see him get his MBE as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got it.
Imagine Billy Bolt with an MBE.
I tell you what, we've got one thing that I totally forgot about.
The giveaway
for the merch bundle. So for those that
on your show,
yeah, for those that didn't see, we've got ran a giveaway on our Instagram page there's a bag, a phone case, trucker cap, face mask, mug, and pin badge, and you just had to shout on your story. So I'll get all the comments up.
Was that the photo of my sister?
Yeah. Sister.
She's a good girl.
People were asking about if it was your sister, my sister. Right. If I get all the comments up,
Billy's like, which one is it?
I'm restraining from comment.
Right, Billy, if you just scroll somewhere and just pick somebody at random there for us, please.
The one that's highlighted.
All the way at the bottom to make sure no one's missed. All the way at the top.
Your attempt, I love that. Sugar Tits is literally just text me going.
It's Davy Frew.
Davy Frew. Excellent. I'll get in touch.
Davy Frew, there you go.
Davy Frew, there you go.
Well done, Davy.
I'll get in touch, get the address, and get that posted. But
awesome.
Billy, thanks so much for joining us. Really enjoyed the crack. And
bb57.com.
Yeah.
Cheers, Ed.
Kex.
Cheers,
Kex
Ed.
Also,
thank you very much, mate. Thank you for
They just actually relaunched one yesterday or the day before, a new pattern, if anyone wants to see.
And it's like sort of tight boxer shorts.
Yeah, they're quite a bit longer for bike riders and stuff.
Do they make your budgies look bigger?
Yeah, for bike riders, they're definitely improve performance, and for size of the package, they also
That's what I'm after,
they work
really.
wonders.
Really? Is it like a built-in pump job?
It does it all for you automatic.
Fantastic.
It knows when it needs to be up and when it needs to be down.
Shut up, man.
So what is it? We've got 20% off or something.
Long length.
I don't know how much. I think it's 15. It's Motorpod. Motorpod, all one word, lowercase, and there's a discount code on it.
Motorbike pod. It'll be Motorbike pod.
I'll check it.
I'll
check once. And it's up here.
We better get this right because
Motorbike pod. MOTORBIKEPOD. There's a discount code. If any of you viewers want to use that at checkout.
Excellent. And then your shop's
my shop is shopbb57.com, but there's not a lot. It comes out nicely on shopbb57.com, but most people probably can't understand.
Terms and conditions will apply.
There's not a lot on there, but if you want to leave your credit card details, so CV number.
Contact list, please.
There's not a lot happening. A couple of kid-sized t-shirts left, but if you keep an eye, there's an Instagram page called shopbb57.com _ because someone stole shopbb57.com. I keep reporting it to try and get rid of it, to get it for myself. I reported it. If you give that a follow, there's no post or anything on there at the minute. I've kind of just let everything go quiet, and we're working on some new stuff,
like a relaunch,
new design, full relaunch with a lot more. Before we kind of only did t-shirts because it was almost like an afterthought when we launched the video, like, we'll launch some merch alongside it, and it blew up, not blew up, but it went crazy. So I was having to order more and more and more, and it was all like mix and match and trying to always catch up with orders rather than do it properly. So we've decided to wind it off, and then we've got some new designs and new styles, and it's all going to come back very nicely at some point.
If anyone watching or listening, I would highly recommend going over to YouTube, and if you type in Billy Bolt, there's loads of good content. It's like comes out weekly, doesn't it, pretty much?
Yeah, usually I try on a good week we do 2 videos a week, but usually at worst we do get 1 a week, and just mixture. It's been quite a few point of view in GoPro stuff lately because I've kind of been in South Africa without Ed, who kind of edits and film stuff, but there's actually some really good stuff in the pipeline now. I'm back, a couple of challenges, and got a few other sponsors involved, so it's going to be really, really entertaining over the next few weeks, to be honest.
Ideal,
if I do say so myself.
Oh, good lad.
Spot on.
It's not really going to work with going, it's shite.
It's shite. You can watch it out.
That's what makes it laugh when Tommy's promoting his, and he's like, well, if you've got nothing better to do with your
subscribe.
But
you got anything to say? Because we've got Tommy on next week.
It's a massive toss.
But if you can get him on the show, that would be actually good. The power of you two bitching
honestly, he would be good. I've half suggested we should do a podcast, but the problem is he doesn't really know much else other than motocross. So me and Ed would have some good. I'd have a guest on and have a good conversation. But I think it would work good, and Tommy would just butt in every now and again.
Because it would kind of be like the Carl Pilkington thing.
I've kind of suggested it slightly, but I do think it would be quite good. It's definitely a
well, personally, I think you're too busy. You haven't got enough time, and we currently like being the top dogs. So it's piss off, son. Have a do one.
I do actually think that would be.
It would be.
I think it would be good, and just with like the circle, I think we'd get some quite good guests and stuff.
Definitely,
like that.
I tell you what, I can probably see this being my last episode. Like the second I leave and go back to work, it'll be like, Billy, let's have a chat, son. Let's build this.
I think I like the
dynamics between you, Ed, and Tom.
But I also like your dynamic with the two Geordie lads kind of just going in at anyone else as well, like sticking up each other. Whereas I'm going to be quite outnumbered down there, so I'll have to get used to come down and they'll just be going. Everything will go straight over there.
Well, hey, that's what it's about, son. But honestly, thank you so much for being on, and we're gonna have to, now that you're back home, I'll have to make this a regular thing because it's been great crack.
Just chatting shit, it's fantastic.
We've been doing it for 2 years now.
That's after with all the setup and the lights and lovely.
I did notice. I was just looking at the charts, like because there's podcast charts. And we've been doing pretty well, like in the UK and Ireland and stuff. But we're actually in the top. I think we're something like 25th in South Africa.
Really?
But yeah, we've got it in. We're doing really well in Netherlands for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, we're pretty.
Oh well, hopefully you should get a few. I've got a few people that like us in South Africa, it seems. So hopefully,
I'll tell you after this pod goes out.
See how the South African ratings go. But if everyone's enemy Safa mates down there,
Israel.
Thank you very much. They're nice lads. Anyway, I keep telling everyone at Newcastle, well, they all watch Geordie Show. South African people only know what Geordie Show is. That's the only thing they know about Newcastle. And I'm just like, oh,
it's the worst thing that happened to us.
That's a bit awkward. That's not actually what happens. You said, but we're actually way more interesting and way funnier than what actually goes on in that program. So if anyone's watching, this is better than Geordie Show. This is actual Geordies having a good crack.
And he's the only one tashing on.
So massive thank you to our patrons as usual, to our sponsor Colchester Kawasaki, and we'll catch you up next week. Thanks very much for joining us and take care.
Cheers, Billy lad.
Thank you very much.
Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.